morning, Delaware Valley. Hope you're having a great Monday, Delaware Valley and beyond. As we start our midday shows for the week, a week of pretty much non-sports. It's kind of like the pandemic all over again, just having to come up with material without sports. Not that I want to compare the two at all, but that is where we are right now. This week is special. Special because we're going to have rotating producers. Special because my man, Ray Dunn, is going to be sitting next to me all week as my co-host. Raymond, how are we today?
I am doing wonderful, Bob. How are you?
I'm terrific, thank you. And as you already got thanked on the crossover for bringing in Federal Donuts, the greatest donuts you'll ever taste.
It's Appreciate a Sports Talk Radio Host Week.
It is.
As far as I'm concerned, that's what this is. That was my way of saying, hey, everybody here, we're going to get through this. There's no sports. We're going to have some fun doing it. And just a little appreciation on this Monday morning.
Well, it is much appreciated. And I felt bad. All I did was bring you in a hash brown.
It was good, though. I appreciate the hash brown.
Uh-huh.
I would say the donuts brought in today for me don't even equal what I think you've already brought in for me throughout the few months we've worked together. So this is I'm not even close to paying you back.
I'm not looking for payback. Brendan Gunn, how are you today, buddy?
Not bad. It's
rotating
a Monday.
producers. You are it today.
I am it today. I get to work with two of the greatest guys in radio, Bob Cooney and Ray Dunn. I couldn't be happier to be here pulling the double with you guys.
Yeah, that's a tough one because when you're done the morning show, and look, there's a lot of people out there that are listening that run crazy shifts, and we know it, and we appreciate you and all that. But getting up at like 3:30 in the morning, coming in and doing that morning show, you can't imagine at like 10 o'clock how your body just starts to shut down. Well, you better turn it back on there, B-Gun, because we got 4 hours of something going on here, and we can't get it started until we start with this.
Now, the front page. The stories everyone's talking about. 97.5, The Fanatic.
Well, the Phillies end the first half of the season by giving up 2 touchdowns, 2 safeties, and only kicking a field goal in an 18-3 loss to the Oakland A's yesterday. I got to tell you, did it suck? Yeah. You're watching it. Turner hits a home run. It's a bullpen game. Kirkering gives you 1 good inning, and you're thinking, oh, okay. All right, this is the Phillies team. Then it starts, like, as uglier as the game got, so did the day. Because the clouds started rolling in, and the sun went away, and then the threat of rain, and then the rain. It was just like one of those days. I got to tell you guys, you know how I am. Once a game's over, wash my hands, wipe it off, move forward. I did that in like the 5th inning yesterday. This is done. The A's, something crazy. They scored every inning from the 4th on, and they scored 18 runs with 8 home runs. It's the end of the first half of the season, and the Phillies' best record in baseball by 3.5 games over the Cleveland Guardians, standing at 62-34. If you want a positive, they still went 4-2 on this homestand, which is a .667 winning percentage, which is even better than what their winning percentage is this year. So they even gained ground as far as being the best team in baseball. Wild weekend, as we all know, with other things too. But in the Philly sports world, Whit Merrifield happened after we left the air on Friday, right? And it's funny, you and I were going around the office doing some things, and you just come riding down the hallway, and you're like, Whit! And I'm like, what? And you're like, Whit out! It's like, what? He's gone? So they released Whit Merrifield. Rob Thompson came out and spoke of it and seemed pretty, hurt by what he had to do in releasing Whit Merrifield. Something that he's had to do an awful lot, he said, in his career, but this one really hurt him. So that was on Friday. We'll talk about it. I don't think we're devastated. I think we'll get through it. Ray is doing the heartache thing, but I think he's lying. Saturday, you go into a game. Now, it was cool. We went down to see my mother-in-law and went out to dinner down in where I used to live in Washington Township. And we went to the P.J. Wellahans down there, and it was cool. It was like, it wasn't as crazy, obviously, as an Eagles game, but the bar was filled, and everybody had their Phillies jerseys on, and people are applauding every out. And then Tyler Phillips, a local kid, he does what he does from Bishop Eustace, which was so much fun. I love the way the fans reacted to it. Love the way he handled it. And I'll tell you what, Ray, I said this to you after he pitched in Atlanta. I said, I don't know, there's an eye test with this kid that he just looks mature, that the situation isn't going to be too big. I think he proved that even more on Saturday.
Yeah, I think there's a role for him going forward. I think that if they're going to do this six-man rotation when they get Walker back and healthy, there is no competition for who number 6 is right now. Phillips has kind of established himself as, all right, yeah, I see something with him, and I see something with him that I think coming out of the break, I feel comfortable with him going to Pittsburgh against a team that's kind of picked it up. And if they want to keep him in the rotation beyond that, I'm cool with that.
Yeah, Michael Mercado certainly didn't do anything to help himself at all yesterday as far as that 6 starter may go. Good time for rest, right? Yeah, I said it last week. I don't know why I kind of felt it. I just felt it was a good time for the Phillies. Like, you had some little injuries. You have Wheeler with the back issue. Some of the guys just coming off the injured list. Gives JT Realmuto some time maybe to get back. Now, last I heard was he wasn't going to be ready for the Pittsburgh series, but instead for the Minnesota series after that. So that'll be great if he's coming back then. A couple of individual things. Trey Turner and Alec Boehm. Those were the 2 guys that got hit yesterday. That's it. They had 2. Phillies had 4. That was it. Well, Trey Turner, he's up to 349 hitting now.
Not bad.
This is what he's done since he's come back. 36 for 101. That's a 356 batting average.
Pretty good.
4 doubles, 9 home runs, 23 RBIs. If you take that out for a full season, say he gets, 600 at-bats, that's 216 hits, 54 home runs, 138 RBI. That's a pretty good season, Ray.
Yeah, I would like that.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
I wouldn't mind that at all.
MVP?
I don't think I could give it to a guy that missed 38 games. I have to see how it plays out.
Talk to me at the end of the season.
No, you're exactly right. That's what I mean. See how it plays out. If he stays on a streak like this, 38 games means nothing.
He hits 340 in today's Major League Baseball.
When nobody else is coming close, yeah. So, like I said.
With the power numbers, like, again, it's hard to keep this up.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to imagine he keeps this up. But if he were to keep up something close to this, where he ends up at like 335, 340.
Okay. Yeah, the other numbers are going to be like people look and go, 23 homers and, 60 RBI. I could see people being like, really? Right. Now you're just going, but we'll see. We'll see how it all plays out. I'm not putting it down. Alec Boehm, his 2 hits were both doubles yesterday. Leads the league with 33. Batting average at 295 at the All-Star break. We'll talk about individually coming up what we think of everybody on the Phillies team, both pitching, hitting, defensively, everything. Not that we're going to sit here and give grades, but a look back at the first half of the season, because the word that comes into mind when I think of this first half of the season for the Phillies is sustainability. I see a lot of it. There's some maybe I can question. Maybe there's more of it that you guys will question. We'll put that out there to you a little bit later. Another individual, Nick Castellanos. 0 for 3 yesterday, 3 strikeouts. He's at 233. Highest he got to this year after, substantial games was like 238 a couple weeks ago. Now he's back down to 233. His at-bats, and Kincade brings this up an awful lot about plate approach and something that bothered him last year, and rightfully so at times. Like Nick Castellanos, he's swinging at the first pitch every time. He's going to have a 1-2 count 90% of the time. That's not something that I love. So we'll talk about that. Although I have been a proponent, and I've come out and said it on these airways, I am a proponent of leaving him in right field and letting him figure it out. So maybe I'm talking out of both sides of my mouth. We'll talk about that today. The A's hit 8 homers yesterday. I swear in my lifetime, I don't remember the Phillies. Now, I guess you guys heard the records. I didn't see the record. Is that the record against the Phillies? Most homers in a game? Might have been that 23-22 game back when I was a kid. There might have been more when Schmitty had 4 himself.
I thought they had a Mets game. They said that happened. I don't know. I was sitting in that chair as all this was happening.
That's
just
right,
throwing my hands up in the air in frustration. Just feeling for the people that sat through the 90-degree heat and were subjected to that.
Oh, it was so ugly. It was just like, I can't stand watching it. But like I said, I didn't even see Stubbs pitch.
I watched. I watched.
What did I turn on? Oh, you know what I watched? I turned on the WNBA game. The Fever started at like 4 o'clock, so I watched the Caitlin Clark game.
I want to know if Stubbs had a role in the bullpen. Turns out no.
No, not even a little. I know,
That's funny. Brutal, though. Eight innings of catching in 90-degree heat. Hey, man.
Second day in a row, though. Yeah. He also caught on Saturday.
And go out there and throw the 9th.
Yeah. He hit 87, but he also hit, like, when he threw out that run, he had a great throw to throw somebody out yesterday. They said, oh, man, he threw that at like 84, I think it was. They put the number out there. And then he got up to 87 on the gun as a pitcher. So keep an eye on Stubbsy. He might have to go to pitcher in order to stay on this team, but that's a talk for another day. The 8 homers by the A's, they were kind of no doubt about it. They averaged 417 feet. I mean, crazy. Rooker put like put one over the batting eye. It's just amazing what they did yesterday.
That's a man trying to get traded right there.
Yeah, I mean, if you like this ballpark, dude, you're more than welcome. But we'll talk about that a little bit later, too. Amazing. First time the Phillies have lost a home series since their second home series of the season. They lost the first home series against Atlanta. Then they lost the second home series to Cincinnati. They haven't lost another home series since. That is pretty damn incredible.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, absolutely nuts. So, yesterday sucked, but wipe it off. Let's talk first half of the season, which is what we'll get into a little bit more later. They're off until Friday when they're at Pittsburgh. Aaron Nola's going to go. First game there. And then I didn't hear much more about it. Then it gets kind of wonky. They're going to figure out what Wheeler is, where he is.
So, from what I understand, Nola, then Saturday, Sunday will be Phillips or Sanchez. Fill in one of the two there. Then they go to Minnesota. It'll be either Suarez or Wheeler for those first 2 games.
Okay.
So they're going to give Suarez and Wheeler a good amount of time to get themselves rested and well again.
All right, good. I don't mind that at all. I really do not mind that at all. So it'll be 3 in Pittsburgh starting on Friday. My son's going out. Our oldest son's Bobby is going out to those games, and you are too.
Yeah.
All right, that's cool. Maybe I'll pass along some numbers here, figure it out.
Also,
Pittsburgh, beautiful
Picklesburg out there.
Picklesburg, yes.
Don't know what that is, but I'm going to find out, I guess.
Yes, you will. You'll get some great sandwiches when you're out there. You're only out there. You're not out there long, but
no.
Stuff your face as much
but
as
I'll be
you
there,
can,
yeah,
Ray.
Saturday.
Yes. So, as we said, first 6 games off of the All-Star break. The Phillies will be away, 3 in Pittsburgh, 3 in Minnesota. Your Philadelphia Eagles, a week and a day to report to camp. Awesome. Can't wait for Eagles camp. All these rankings came out this weekend. Maybe we'll take a look at that a little bit later. Have to see what you have to say about it. As far as the Sixers, Kenyon Martin gets a 2-year, $16 million contract. And I said to you this morning, what was the first thing that popped into your head when you saw that? Because the first thing that popped into my head was sign and trade. Haven't heard much about it, though.
He's going to get traded at some point. The first thing that popped in my head was, one, good for him. And then I said to you, it followed with, well, what's the least amount of money you would take to be guaranteed that you're going to move to a random city in a few months?
$8 million isn't a bad start.
No, $8 million's not a bad number to take. But if you said, roll the dice, you move somewhere in the U.S. in a couple of months, $8 million is great. I was trying to figure out where the least amount of money I would accept for that type of condition. I don't
All right, Ray, you're going to Buffalo, New York for the next 2 years. And here's $150,000 a year. You all right? Oh, you're going to bargain on that. How about $250,000? You need $250,000.
Well, no, the thing is,
you said anywhere in the country. I'm going to send you to the worst possible place.
That would be signing. You have to sign for it without knowing where you're going, because he doesn't know where he'll end up getting traded.
All right, I know, but I'm giving you the option. Not the option. I'm telling you where you're going to go.
I could do worse than Buffalo. So yeah, 150.
Oklahoma City.
Yeah, you're going to have to bump that.
Oklahoma City actually is not. I got stuck there one time. Sixers had a game. They fly out right after the game. I'm not scheduled to fly out till the next day. Philadelphia was closed with a major storm. 2 days by myself, Oklahoma City. There's nothing about Bricktown I can't tell you. I know every little nook and by the second day, I walk it in and get it like lunch. The guy's like, yo, Bob, what's up?
Yeah, I'm sorry for you.
You want the regular? I was like, I've only been here 2 days. But no, they had a really good Mickey Mantle steakhouse. Oh, phenomenal. Yeah.
Yeah, up that price. I'm sorry.
Well, later in the show,
like
we'll look at Ray's favorite cities in the United States.
I like to have a good time. I don't know if I'm finding that in Oklahoma City.
All right, also with the Sixers, Dembona, he gets a 4-year, $16 million. No, 4 years, $8 million deal.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I
just throwing out money left and right here, Bob.
I'm giving him the $8 million that Kenyon Martin, or that,
KJ Martin. Yeah,
just hand it all out. I like Kenyon better than KJ.
He just goes by KJ, so
He doesn't just go by. I have heard people that call him Kenyon.
Okay. Well, I'm not that close to him, so I call him KJ.
On the let's call it international front. It was a good weekend for Spain.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
Bad
get to
weekend
win.
for Josh Saffron.
Yes, he lost some money. Sorry,
I don't know if
Josh.
he lost money. That's me. That's
You
me.
know
He
he
called
did.
it the England match. So
Yeah.
when he called it the England match, I was like, that's probably not a good thing for him.
Yeah, so Spain beats England in the Euro Championship. And a match that I watched the final 1.5, almost 2 full sets of. Wimbledon men's yesterday. Carlo Alcaraz wins the Wimbledon championship. I'll tell you what, it was pretty cool. Like I told you, when I was a little kid, I used to love getting up early on that Sunday morning and watching the championship at Wimbledon. Yesterday, turned it on. It started at 9. I guess I turned it on like 10:30, something like that, and watched the remainder of it. The way that him and Djokovic handled themselves after the match was what sports is all about. I swear it was. Djokovic was really cool in that he, said that, look, the better player won today. Very grateful to be where he was, thanking his family, his kids, and all that. And then the kid Alcaraz, who's only 21 years old, and it's his second straight Wimbledon win, couldn't be any more humble. And it was funny. So they have a lady, and every year they have a lady on the court that interviews the two afterwards. So she interviews Djokovic after it's done. Then Alcaraz comes up and she says, she was interviewing Djokovic and she says, you played someone today that was, just a really hot player that, and this kid is really good looking. And everybody just starts laughing. It's like a middle-aged woman, and she's like, I meant he's on fire and how he plays. And Djokovic was cool. He goes, yeah, he is really hot. I'll give you that. And so anyway, it all played out really cool, I thought. And that's the front page for you, Ray.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wimbledon, for me, was viewing pleasure in that studio while it was going on. I did not catch the end of that one.
What time were you in yesterday?
No. I mean, last week.
Oh,
the build up to it.
Yeah, so congratulations to all the ball boys and ball girls over there at Wimbledon. Now they can take out the robotic thing in their minds that allows them to just act like normal human
Yeah,
beings.
that's nice.
Yeah, so
Until next year.
Yeah, until next year. All right, there's so much to dissect, and this is perfect. It'll take us into our next. But there's so much to dissect about this first half of the Phillies season. Easy to say it was all great. There's nothing much to dive into. Like I brought up on the crossover, it bothered the hell out of me last week, and we'll talk more about it today, that people were just saying, this is the best team I've ever seen in Philadelphia sports history. Easy. Let's not how we can say that after the Eagles were 10-1 last year is beyond me. But, easy, because I don't want to see people be unbelievably disappointed should this not go well. There's going to be some downtime with this Phillies team in the second half of the season at some point. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with it. But we're going to dissect of maybe what can happen in this second half, good and bad, what cannot happen in this second half, simply because we don't see it. And we'll dissect all of it because there's a lot to look into. And I'm not going to be the, it can't be this good. They can't play 30 games over 500 for the rest of the year. I don't know. Maybe they can. They have 8 All-Stars. They have great pitching. They have really good hitting. They're getting one of their best players back. They were riddled by injury in the first half of this season, and they're 30 games over 500. So there's a lot of almost all good to look at when it comes to the Phillies.
Respectfully, don't compare them to 10-1 Eagles.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm not. But, for people to go around, did you not cringe, or were you on board with, this is the best. This could be the best team I've ever seen in Philadelphia?
I can't do the Philadelphia one because I think that there's probably Eagles teams, in terms of dominance with their sport, that I would put over this one. In my lifetime, I haven't seen the Sixers have a team that's done this dominant. I haven't seen the Flyers have a team this dominant. The Eagles are the ones that I could compare it to. The Phillies of 2011, the way they dominated through a regular season, and the reason that one still sticks with me is because I feel like that was one that there was unfinished business with.
Right.
I think that I'm watching the best summer of Phillies baseball of my lifetime.
I hope we do. All I'm
best
saying
summer.
is
I'm saying summer.
Right.
There's business to be taken care of in the fall.
There's also half of a summer still to go.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident saying this is the best summer.
And that's fine. The confidence is fine. It is. I was just Connor said, it's a generational thing. I don't think it is, because I've told you how I started to look at sports when I was 17 years old, where I backed it up and said, I'm not going to let my life be ruined by a win or a loss or whatever, because it doesn't really affect me. Then
I will.
But that's fine. So don't let it affect you wrongly. Don't let 92 games say that this is the best team you've ever seen when there's still so many games to go. Actually, it's more than that. It's like they've played like
96, I believe.
96, is that what it is?
What is it, 62?
Yeah, something like that. If only we could figure this
62
out.
and 34, 96.
96 games. All right, that's a little more than a half of a sampling size. So let's take a look at what can be sustainable, what can't be. I'll ask you out there, 610-632-0975. Top of your head, before we dive deep into individuals, into positions, into the manager, into the owner, into the general manager. We'll dive into all that. But off the top of your head, this Phillies team, general question is this sustainable? Is 30 games over 500, best record in baseball, holding on to first place at a pretty comfortable lead? Is that sustainable? That is the general question. When we start to go individually, let's see who we might think is sustainable from the first half, who isn't sustainable, and maybe who's going to be a lot better in the second half. We can look at all that, and that's what we're going to do today. 610-632-0975. Love to hear from you on this. We're starting off with the Phillies. First half assessment, it's great. There's no doubt about it. What's sustainable in your mind? What isn't sustainable? All of those things are coming into play right now. Ray Dunn's here with me, co-hosting all week long. Can't wait, Ray. So excited. B-Gun producing. This is Middays. Bob Cooney, 97.5 The Fanatic. 10:30 here, middays. Thank you for joining us on this Monday. Kind of gross out there today. Like dripping gross. Crazy gross. My daughter and I, so my wife has a pretty cool thing that every time my daughter leaves the house, she always walks her to the door and kisses her goodbye. No matter if she's going out with friends or whoever, like it's the little thing that they have, which is cool. Well, today, my daughter and I were walking out of the house at the same time. And so my wife opens the door, say goodbye, and she's like, "Oh, God, it's horrible out here." And my daughter and I turn around and look at her, we're like, "Yeah, you stay inside in the air all day today and do your work," 'cause my wife works from home. Not that I'm suffering in here
hold
or
up.
anything.
Oh, you guys are ripping her.
No, I'm
you
ripping
in your
no,
air-conditioned studio. You can't even see the outside world from where you're sitting.
You didn't let me finish. And my daughter and I kind of laughed, and then I said, "Yeah, because we have to do the struggle of getting into our car, driving to the office, and then sitting inside. So it's not much different for us except for the 30-foot walk from driveway.
Stand up for Donna anytime.
Oh, absolutely. No, we were making fun of ourselves is actually what it came down to.
It sounds like you're going
stop
after
kissing
Donna.
my wife's ass. You were over for dinner one time, and now it's like you two are best friends.
We are.
I get a text last week, B. You weren't here for this. I forget what we were talking about, and my phone pops, and I look, and it's like, I got raised back on this one.
That's
You're
right.
wrong. And I'm like, we're not even differing on anything here.
Oh, it's going to be a fun week with you two then.
That's right. Donna, I'm standing up for you.
I have enough kids. I don't need another one.
That's fine. You don't need to adopt me. I'm just telling you I'm taking your wife's side on this one.
Like my 4 kids always do also.
All right,
so
well, maybe she
I thought I
needs
had
more
somebody
allies.
on my side. B. Gunn will be on my side. I know.
I got you, Bob.
Thank you. I know he's a
Now, the
Foxhole
dynamic
guy.
of this show doesn't work if you're on Bob's side. I'm sorry.
Oh, jeez. All right, so we're talking about the Phillies now. Now, look, you finish up the first half of the season, and it was a wonderful one. It's 62-34. They flirted with this weekend, going 30 games over 500 into the All-Star break. I can't even imagine it. It's crazy how good they are. Okay, but what do? You got to move forward. You have to look forward. What I'm talking about today is sustainability. And it's a subject I've brought up before with different areas of sports in this city. But I think it's legitimate when you're looking at a team that's 8.5 games up on the closest team in the division, the Atlanta Braves. 3.5 up on the next closest team in all of baseball, the Cleveland Guardians. You own the National League right now. You kind of own all of baseball right now. What is sustainable moving forward? There's different things that maybe you think can happen, that can happen, that must happen. All of those things are on the table, so that's what we're talking about today, 610-632-0975. We're going to get into looking at the Phillies pitching. This first half of the season, I'm going to break it down with Ray right now. But before we get to it, let's get Tom from Alabama. Tom, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Good morning. How's everyone?
Good, buddy. How you doing?
Fine, thank you. The next 12 games to the end of July is going to have something to say, too, because they play Cleveland and New York at home, the Yankees, and then Pittsburgh, who's always historically given them some problems. I like it, but I'm worried about, Wheeler and Suarez, and there's definitely something with Suarez. It's not just fatigue, you know what I'm saying, man?
I don't know what it is. So it's funny you say that because, Tom, I don't know if it's because the time he got hit on the hand with the ball and he had to sit out a start or two. Just one start, wasn't it?
No, they had to go into London, so I think he ended up making his next start because it was a week.
Okay.
between
He
starts.
did make his next one.
All
in
right.
London. You're right.
And ever since then, ever since he got hit, it's been different. There could be fatigue there because he's never started a season to the All-Star break with this many innings. But I agree with you that there's something there.
The bullpen, Soto, Dominguez, and who was the guy?
Ruiz?
Yeah, those 3 guys are shaky. I hope they can get it together. I think we need to get a bullpen piece, a right-handed bat, and we should be good. Maybe 2 right-handed bats, but we don't need to add that much. We have the team. The Phillies have the best far-and-away team. They're up. They just have to maintain. We just got to get Realmuto to behind that plate. If he's not behind that plate in October, we don't have a damn chance.
Yeah, and Tom, thanks so much. Him getting back from the injury, as we said earlier, in case you didn't hear, it looks like he's not going to be back for the Pittsburgh series, but should be ready for that Minnesota series. So we know the word, I think Tom McCarthy told us, that he was going to be going down to Florida during this All-Star break to get in some swings, to get in some real live hitting. against some pitchers down there. Okay, speaking of pitchers, let's go through this. And the theme kind of that we're talking about today is sustainability. What can guys do in the second half, maybe similar to what they did in the first half? Can guys stay as good as they were in the second half as they were in the first half? Let's break it down a little bit now. So we'll start with the starting pitching. Ray, and we'll go with Aaron Nola. I'll give you the stats. Give a synopsis of what you think and whether it can be sustainable or not, and I'll react to that. And B-Gun will get you in on this. Aaron Nola, 19 starts this year. 14 quality starts. I think quality starts is a weird stat. You can have a 4.50 ERA as a quality start, but whatever. We'll get into that later. 11-4, 119 and 2/3 innings pitched. 96 hits, 45 earned runs, 17 home runs, which has been, something that he's struggled with a little bit. But listen to this, 27 walks to 116 strikeouts. That's not bad. Averaging 8.7 strikeouts per 9 innings with an ERA of 3.38. Aaron Nola, 11-4, 3.38, 14 quality starts. Sustainable moving forward. Synopsis of his first half. Sustainable moving forward. Ray, what do you say?
If you're talking just numerically, can it get better? Or is it sustainable? I think it can get better. Truthfully, the 3.38 ERA includes the clunker in Fenway and includes the clunker that he started the season with. And, obviously, it's a total picture of what he is. When you have that ERA, it's every start you make. So it's one of those, if you take out the bad ones, it's been pretty good. Yeah, you take out the 2 disastrous starts, and it's been a really, really solid season. That's what I expect from him. I think it could be better for him. I think if there's a pitcher in this second half that I'm convinced their numbers will trend better, I think it's Aaron Nola.
I look at it like this. Aaron Nola has had what we have seen before this year of the good Aaron Nola. Like when he's good, this is who he is for the most part. This is Aaron Nola who he is. I expect this to continue. Much better, any better? He's been pretty damn good, so I don't know. And
I think numerically, I think the stuff's been there entirely. So I think, him as a pitcher, he's right there with who he is and what he is as a pitcher. If you're telling me, because when we start talking, sustainability, I start thinking numbers-wise. He can sustain the type of pitcher he is. I think the numbers get better with him sustaining.
Okay, probably about 14 more starts for most of the starters. You get about 33, 34, maybe up to 35-ish.
You think it'll be that many?
But I think 33 is
what. You think they'll go 6-man and it might get to 30 starts instead? They might miss a couple?
Maybe. We know Wheeler doesn't like to do that, but maybe they do with somebody like Nola. They have some options to do here. It's all going to be interesting how it plays out. So that's how I'm looking at Nola. Sustainable? Yes, I think what he's done in this first half is sustainable. Ray thinks it might get a little bit better. I think this is his good season. This is what he is. I'm okay with it. B-Gun, what do you say about Aaron Nola?
Yeah, I mean, how can you complain with what he's done this whole season so far, right? You're talking about a guy that you look at as your second ace when it comes to the playoffs. And right now, he's the 4th starter you think of on this team. That's how fortunate we are right now that everybody else is dominating. He's kind of been tucked away a little bit, and he hasn't been the primary discussion as he has a lot of his career as the guy in our rotation. I can't complain with him. He's 24th in ERA. He is sitting there at 3.38. I think he can get a little bit better, like Ray mentioned. He had a couple clunkers in there that boost that up a little bit. I think he's going to hit his stride come August and September, and he's going to go in there and he's going to slot into that number 2 hole when it comes to the rotation in the postseason.
I think he's number 2 no matter what. Because of playoff past with Rob Thompson, too, and how good he's pitching this year. Yeah, so Aaron Nola, if we do the 3 synopsis that we have on him, he'll be fine for the rest of the year, as good as he was in the first half, maybe even a little bit better numbers-wise. But when you bring up clunkers of outings, that's why ERAs are what they are. So Zach Wheeler, 19 games started. Again, 14 quality starts for him also. A 10-4 record, 116 2/3 innings pitched. Another really good walk-to-strikeout ratio, 35 to 126, ERA of 2.70, a whip of 0.99, which is tremendous. I feel like Zach Wheeler is, I don't want to say teetering. I wouldn't worry so much about this injury. I think they're handling it with serious precaution. They're just being very, very careful with him. Zach Wheeler's a stud. Don't look at it any other way. He's going to be a stud even if the last, I don't know, maybe he gets 11 more starts. If that's all it is or whatever, if you hold him back because of the back, I don't care. I think he's fine. You're good to go. Number one starter rest of the year and into the playoffs.
Yeah, I'm not going to disagree on the ace here. Like Zach Wheeler, assuming health, this is sustainable. This is who Zach Wheeler's always been. Like for the Phillies, this is who Zach Wheeler's been. Since he's been a Philly, this is the type of pitcher he is. Frontline ace. Yeah, I can't really guess anything else unless something happens with this that we don't foresee, injury-wise.
Yeah, it would anything that would slow him down would be injury, not him.
Right.
Yeah, I think so too. B-Gun, you're pretty much on board?
Get him to the postseason healthy, and don't throw him off his schedule if he doesn't want to be thrown off his schedule when it comes to the six-man thing. If it throws him off a little bit, ride him out and let him stay on his normal one and get everybody else on that six-man rotation. I just want to see that guy don't lose. I don't want to see him lose his stride at all. So if that throws him off, I'm not risking it.
Yeah, but
That's
it's funny. I go back to 2 years ago, though. Let's not forget, with a forearm strain, they were like, nah, we're going to give you rest. Like, it seemed like he could have come back, right?
And I think it doesn't seem like Zach Wheeler, especially when he says that he's going to make his next start. Zach Wheeler doesn't strike me as the guy that's like, Sunday before the All-Star break, I'll take the Sunday off.
No,
like,
I agree with you.
I think they're going to manage him with the concern, and he can battle all he wants. He can go kicking and screaming, talking about wanting to make a start every fifth day. If Matt Gelb's saying he thinks they're going to a six-man rotation come August, I'm anticipating a six-man rotation, whether or not Zach Wheeler wants it. And a year ago, he was still dominant in the postseason, despite the fact that his August was spent in a six-man rotation. So I don't really get concerned about him being thrown off the way that, like, maybe in August he doesn't have the gaudy August, like the crazy numbers. Maybe it looks a little bit worse because he's not in his regular, flow. But I imagine that they'll get him back for the five-man come September, and then he'll be firing away again in October. That's just who I think he is.
So do I. I couldn't agree with you more. All right, let's finish out the starting pitching. Ranger Suarez, of 19 games started, 11 quality starts. He's 10-4, 114 innings. That's a key with him. 114 innings, I think. He's got a 2.76 ERA. Also, 26 walks, 112 strikeouts. These guys are amazing. Let's hold his synopsis until after the break, because mine might not be as favorable as yours. 610-632-0975. We're looking at the Phillies. We're assessing the first half of the season and seeing what it may lead to in the second half. If you have a thought, 610-632-0975. This is Middays, Bob Cooney, 97.5 The Fanatic. Okay, 10 o'clock hour. It's brought to you by Window Nation. Take advantage of Window Nation's 50% off sale on all style windows. Plus, make no down payment with no payments and no interest for 12 full months. Call 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com. Okay, we're going over the Phillies. We're talking about sustainability. What an unbelievable first half of baseball at 62-34. 8.5 games up on the Atlanta Braves. Have a good lead. Just swept the Dodgers. Have a good lead on them for best record in the National League. 3.5 games up on the Cleveland Guardians for the best record in all of baseball. Is it all sustainable? There was talk before this weekend, last week, before we had the weekend break. Some of us, not all of us, that this is the best team, most dominant team I've ever seen in my lifetime. I wanted to put a little halt to that because it's not even 100 games into the season. But I understand this is a great summer. I don't want to poo-poo that at all. I'm having as much fun watching this Phillies team as anybody. So let's look at it realistically. Is this sustainable? Is this going to be a team which is on pace for like 108 wins? If they go 500 the rest of the way, I still think they're at that like 95 win mark for the season, which is great. But I think we all expect a little bit more after this opening. I am. I'm looking at it over 100, somewhere between 102 and 105, I would say. And I'm fine with that. I don't think that's overlooking things. So we're looking for sustainability from people. We've gone through Aaron Nola. We did Zach Wheeler. Now it's on to Ranger Suarez. I gave you his numbers before the break. He's been phenomenal for most of the first half. 10-4, 114 innings pitched, 2.76 ERA, which has gone up a full run over the last few starts. A whip of 1.04, which is really good. Has had some outings of late that make you scratch your head a little bit. What's going on? I mentioned to Tom earlier from Alabama, got hit on the hand and hasn't really been the same since. Told Tom McCarthy in the clubhouse, I don't know, I can't find my slider. As a finesse, what? Change-up. Did I say slider?
Yeah.
Can't find his change-up. For a finesse pitcher that might not be able to find that and doesn't have many other things than finesse and finding spots, it has me maybe more concerned than I should be. It's easy to look at Ranger Suarez and say, nah, he's a good dude. He's calm. He'll figure it out. Just need a little bit of rest. He'll be back. I need to see it. I can't say that confidently right now. What about you, Ray?
Yeah, I think he needs rest. I'll be honest. I think that this is just a good time to get him some rest. As much as I would have loved for him to see him in the All-Star game, I'm very cool with the fact that he's not throwing in the All-Star game. And I think velocity being down a smidge, command not being there the way it has been, two things that lead me to believe, hey, a little bit of time off, rest that arm. 155 is the number. 155 innings he threw in 2022. That's the highest of his career. He's at 114. I'm okay if, we stretch this out to a 6-man rotation at some point. That also means you have to have, Walker come back. But we'll have that conversation. We get to that conversation. We get to that point where, let's few less starts for him here. He gets this extended break at the All-Star break. I'd like to see him get that time off. I feel pretty comfortable in what he is as a pitcher and what he's shown you this season. But I think the uncomfortable feeling comes from the number of innings and just knowing, hey, let's make sure we manage that arm. This is about what they do in October, not necessarily what they do in the middle of August. Right,
and I think that's why at 9-0, 10-1, you look at somebody like me who says, well, it's a long season. I don't know if he can stay to 1.75 ERA for the rest of the year, and as well as he's pitching, you're going to look for some downtimes. The question is, the downtime has come. Is it over with, B-Gun, in your mind? Is he going to be on the upswing in the second half of the season, or is it going to be a struggle for him to just stay a really good third starter?
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be a struggle for him to be a really good third starter. I think he is going to bounce back a little bit after the break. The issue is we've seen him do this in August, and then he bounces back from this dead arm period where he struggles, but we've never seen him go out and pitch this many innings. Like Ray mentioned, 155 is the most he's ever pitched. So eventually he's probably going to run into another dead arm period just like this, and we're going to hope it doesn't come at the time where you're walking into the postseason. But can he be as good as he was in the first half or the first half of the first half, 3/4 of the first half? No way. We're talking about a guy that had a below 2 ERA. He's still sitting at 2.76, which is good for ninth in the all of baseball. Can he be that good? I don't know. But is sustainable? No. Can he still be a guy that can go out there and get you a win on any given night? Yes.
All right, give me numbers on 10 more starts for Ranger Suarez. Say he gets 10 more for the rest of the year. What are you looking for?
ERA around 3.
Yeah, which I think is doable.
Yeah, I don't think it's a stretch to ask for that or a stretch to think that would happen. I also think, like, as much as it's been tough, I was there Friday night, and that first inning they gave up runs, I forget which exact inning it was. It might have been the second or whatever. He gets weak contact. It's just to the right of Turner, makes it for a difficult play for Turner with 2 outs, and then all of a sudden it turns into something. Like, I'm sorry, the exit velo and whatever that was not something I'd expect to be a base hit, but ends up runner gets on, and he had a tough go getting out of that inning. Sometimes a little bit of luck is on your side when things are going good, and when things are going bad, base hits like that happen, where that one barely gets out of the infield grass, but it ends up getting a runner on with 2 outs, and a rally starts from there. Like, I think you can be very fortunate when your ERA is sub 2. You can also be very unfortunate when your ERA is, whatever it's been over the last 5 starts.
Yeah, agree with you there. I think we're all on the same page that I like the 3 ERA that Ray threw out for 10 more games. Or starts, I should say. That's quality. That's okay. That's what we expect. And I think he knows in his mind to get himself amped for playoff time, to get his arm, get himself ready. We've seen it. Like B-Gun said, sometimes starts season well, goes down a little bit, and then comes back. I think we'll see that.
The biggest thing I think we've gotten out of this season and going towards this postseason from him specifically is I believe now they're going to trust him to go multiple times through the order. Not just twice, a third time through the order. I think they've seen what he can do now pitching, getting a third time through the order, which will keep a bullpen fresher in a postseason run. And also, you don't have the scenario where we were all sitting there and it worked to a masterclass last year in Game 1 in Atlanta.
Right.
But if everyone remembers that Game 1 in Atlanta, how quickly he was yanked out of that game, and I think the reaction that a lot of people have, whoa, what's going on here? You don't have to put together a game plan like that when a pitcher has figured it out to this level the way he has this season.
Yeah, that's a great point. When I go to Ranger, the thing that scares me the most is just literally the unknown, because we have not seen him go this far. Let's see if he can bounce back again like he normally has. But what's going to happen when he hits that little bump in the road again? Is it going to be quicker than it usually is? That's where I'm at with him.
All right, 4-starter Christopher Sanchez, 18 starts this year. He's 7-4, 103 innings pitched, 2.96 ERA, probably 10 more starts out of him. I don't know what his most innings in a season is, Ray. I don't know if you had that off the top of your head. I meant to look that up this morning, but he's got to be getting up there for that. My confidence level, again, in a guy that throws ground balls, though, I'm okay with him. Like, my confidence level in him is absolutely fine. And we're talking about a 4-starter only for the rest of the season, whatever. I'm fine with Christopher Sanchez.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I'm absolutely fine with him. I'm just looking at it now. I think he just crossed the threshold for the most in a professional season.
Is that right?
So,
okay.
Yeah, we're there. So we're going to see how that goes. He keeps the ball in the ballpark. It's kind of crazy.
Keeps it in the ballpark, keeps it on the ground. And, his velocity since he's gotten here has really gone up. Like, he's hitting 97, 98 every once in a while.
I am so happy he's an all-star. Like, getting that news
was
of
cool.
him being an all-star. And also a little bit of tip of the cap to the Phillies for a while there. And I saw someone talking about this over the weekend, just general baseball conversation. Like, trading with the Rays was like, oh, you're definitely going to lose that trade. Phillies have won multiple, have been pretty successful in that deal. And looking at the deal they, what was it, Curtis Meade or whoever it was they traded for Christopher Sanchez, I'd say that one worked out for you. This is a great development story for them, and also just a great move by them a couple years ago. So tip of the cap to the front office for this one.
Not bad. So I think we're all in agreement on Christopher Sanchez also. All right, when we get back, let's take a look at the bullpen a little bit. Obviously, it's going to be individuals. Whenever anybody talks about trade deadline, it goes to arms in the bullpen first, usually bats in left field. Well, they did something about the bat, one of the bats that they were hoping in left field. We'll take a bigger look at that also before we get to the offense. Ryan, everybody else on the line, hold on. We'll get to you as soon as we get back. This is Middays. Bob Cooney, 97.5 The Fanatic. 11 o'clock hour here on Middays. Joined by Ray Dunn, co-hosting with me all week long. B Gunn is on the producer board today. Who's back there talking to the peeps?
Sean Rodman.
We know Sean. Okay, Sean's back answering the phone. So when you call in, you'll get Sean first. And cousin Ryan just got done talking to Sean. Now he wants to talk to us. Cousin Ryan, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. What's up, Ryan?
Hey, Bob. How's the family?
Everybody's good. How about yours?
They're doing great. I can't complain at all.
Had a guy. What do you got going on?
I think right now this is a perfect time for a break for all the rest and relaxation for our pitching staff. And I think that's what we're worried about. People are worried that they're overworked this early in the season. But I think right now is a perfect breather for them to get back into shape. And then we're also forgetting.
Oh, that was a fat finger, Rye. Sorry, I was moving the phone over, and I accidentally hung up. Rye, give us a call back. I am so sorry on that.
I thought he was making a great point, Bob. I can't believe you cut a guy off like that.
I don't want anybody making a point better than mine.
That's unbelievable.
So that's why I got, Ryan, I'm so sorry. Please call us right back. Stupid me. I went to go grab the phone and accidentally hit the wrong.
It's okay.
It's
all
all
right,
right,
Bob.
good. Ryan's
Mistakes
back.
happen.
It's okay.
All right.
And they seem to happen to me more often than
anybody else. We're going to mark down
else.
the time, but mistakes do happen.
Nah, that's just a legitimate one. All right, let me get Ryan back here. Ryan, sorry about that, buddy. So the perfect time for rest, you're saying?
Yeah, it's the perfect time for rest. And, the other thing is that we're forgetting. We have Spencer Turnbull, who's, he was injured. He's rested up. He's going to come back. And, as depending on how they use him, it could be a fantastic development for our starting rotation.
What did you think of the kid Tyler Phillips on Saturday, Ryan? Now, look, it's easy to get caught up, and we all did with the hometown kid and all of that stuff. I said last week when I saw him against Atlanta, there's an eye test thing for him with me. And I saw that he seemed like really mature and really within himself. That's, again, what I saw on Saturday. What's your thoughts on him, Ryan?
I agree with you that he's mature. He's ready to be in the moment. I think that he needs a little more polishing on some of his pitching. But besides that, I think that he definitely has a bright future.
Yeah, I see something there. Ryan, thanks so much. Hope you stay well, buddy. We're going to go through the sixth starter here in a second. But what were your thoughts on Saturday?
I thought it was good. I think coming out for the seventh might have been stretching it a little bit, but you kind of needed to, given the fact that you were going bullpen day the next day. I did think they were stretching it just a little too much.
I didn't cringe, and when he pitched the sixth, and I think he only threw 11 pitches in the sixth inning, and as he was coming out on the TV, they were like, maybe a seventh? And I was like, maybe not. No, don't do it. Don't do it because it would have ended. You just had a feeling it wasn't going to end on the positive note. It did, even though he gave up a couple of hits. But
I wouldn't be talking about today if he came out at the seventh and had a good seventh. So I'll say that. Like, it wasn't to the point where I was screaming at the television, but it was one of those things like, come back up at sense. Like, okay, I understand why you're doing it because I think they wanted to save arms for Sunday, and justifiably so. We saw what happened on Sunday. Still probably wouldn't have done it, but yeah, solid 6 innings for him. For a guy that's making his first major league start, I can look past a tough 7th inning, especially in a way.
All right, when we're looking at a 5/6 starter, there is Spencer Turnbull, Taijuan Walker, and now Tyler Phillips.
Yeah, so for Turnbull, I don't think you're getting him back until like the middle of August at like best case scenario. They said 6 to 8 weeks from June 26th, which would take you into like late. Like I tend to go, especially pitcher arm, and a guy with a history of Turnbull, where we already were talking innings before we even got to that point. I would go in the later track of that. 8 weeks from June 26th. I looked it up because I can't do calendar math in my head. Would be August 21st.
Yeah, that's some time.
Yeah, you're still over a month away from that.
And then when he comes back, don't you kind of just want to get him ready for what you expect to use him in the postseason for at that point? Which is out of the bullpen.
Throwing him into starting isn't ideal for you.
Not to me, because at that point, you don't use a fifth starter in the postseason. When he comes back in late August, I just want to ramp him up for either that long inning guy or somebody that comes in after somebody else gets roughed up. That's what I want to prepare him for in the postseason. So I don't want to see him go out there and be a starter anymore when he comes back.
So Taijuan Walker, he had the
blister.
I know, but what did they call hot spot?
Hot spot. Yeah.
He had the hot spot on the finger. He threw a bullpen session on Saturday. He's scheduled to throw another one Wednesday at his home in Arizona. Usually an innings eater. should have a fine arm. Now, look, the reason he was put on the IL is because he couldn't throw his splitter with the hot spot, with the blister. He could still keep his arm going. Like they said, he could throw, 75 fastballs or maybe some cutters too with his arm.
BP.
He could throw. But confidence level of what we've seen, is he something that you can kind of trust, or is it a give up on Taijuan Walker? Now, he's got a big contract.
162 games, Bob. 162 games. Some of them you just got to get through. At this point for him, you've got this lead in the division. You've got a guy who's a known commodity as a baseball player in terms of he's going to be able to eat up innings for you. If he comes back, I understand it's going to be belly aching for a lot of people. I've seen one start of Tyler Phillips. I've seen enough Michael Mercado now for me to decide that I don't want him as a bulk innings guy for this team right now.
I'm even going a little further than that, but go ahead. He doesn't seem to have it.
If he goes down and he works in the command and they find it, because there's flashes of okay, this guy has stuff, but he can't command it right now. He can't command the zone. It was another first inning walk right away. First inning he pitched, he got in, walked the guy. To me, he doesn't have it right now. If he goes down, he comes back up, they think he could be an inning guy, or they think in September they could get outs from him. Okay, maybe I could talk about it right now, but for right now, no. I'm good for you going back down and trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
Phillips, we've seen one start. Hey, A-okay with me. We saw you come in 4 innings, and you looked good when you came in the other time. All right, you've earned yourself the chance to play here. I know, Walker, it might not be pretty for 4 or 5 innings, but I'm willing to take the chance on a guy that I think could get me 15 outs. For Mercado, the concern is just an absolute blow-up.
But Mercado has a consistent problem of not being able to find the strike zone.
Yeah.
And it's carrying through and carrying through and carrying through. It's not like this is a new problem. That's what worries me. That's what it's I just don't think you're ready. Because then when he is looking for the strike zone, 458 feet later, you find out that he did hit the strike zone. So, that's somebody I think I'm saying maybe at some other point. But
you go down and figure it out.
Yeah. And it's funny the way we look at people. Like Tyler Phillips, for as great of a story as it was on Saturday, you throw that line to a Taijuan Walker, and people are probably jeez. Which is funny.
Funny because Phillips was kind of victimized by something Walker was victimized early on when he came back. By the time he went on the IL, it was bad. It was right. Not good. But early on when he came back, out there against the Padres, he comes out for an extra inning, gives up a couple runs. That line doesn't look so pretty. There was another start, I think it was at home, where they throw him out there for another inning. He gets roughed up. That line doesn't look as good. That's why I'm saying 5 innings of him, if he's back, it could actually throw his splitter. It's not the worst thing for a team that has a 162-game marathon to go on, and we're talking about Suarez and the number of innings he's pitched. We're talking about Sanchez, the number of innings that he's going to end up pitching. He's already at a career high in professional baseball. Wheeler, we're talking about a back problem. Phillips is here. He's looked good, but again, it's not a known commodity.
Look how fortunate you are. It pretty much is like champagne problems when you're talking about this Phillies pitching staff. Your first 4 starters are all in the top 24 in ERA across all starters in all of Major League Baseball. The first real guy we had to have a conversation with are guys were all in the 5th spot, right? And they're not going to be an issue come the postseason. And then look around the league. You're talking about the Orioles. They can't find pitching right now.
Right.
Yankees are struggling just with the top of their rotation in general. We're talking about a rotation where you can toss any of those 4 guys off, and they're going to go out there and most likely win on any given night. The only issue we run into is on the 5th start, whether it's Taijuan Walker, Spencer Turnbull, and all that. I can't complain about it, right?
No.
They're eating those innings, right?
And it's exactly what Larry Boa said to us at the Brian Dawkins golf outing. Listen to what we're talking about. A 5th starter. And honest to God, it made me feel so much better that what we were thinking was right when people were going crazy about Taijuan Walker. It's a 5th starter. You have 3, maybe 4 guys that can eat up that 5th and 6th starter spot. Eat up some innings at least. And it's your 5th start. It's
right, you just don't have a lot of them healthy right now. That's more the problem. That's more the problem to me. And your pitching depth, talking about a 5th starter, you just mentioned, you're looking across baseball. The Guardians employed Spencer Howard and Ben Lively, and they're 3.5 back of the Phillies. It's rough out there, okay? It's rough out there right now for a lot of people.
Sounds like the seasoned veteran. Oh, it's rough out there now.
It is. It's rough out there right now.
Seas are rough today.
Look, it's rough out there in terms of some of the guys that are throwing innings for some of these good teams. You're going to be subjected to some tough starters at some point. Like yesterday, I was upset for the fans that were in the 90-degree heat and then had to subject themselves to the rainstorm and all those things. Like, just brutal. You plan your Sunday and you have to watch that. But ultimately, it's a byproduct of like pitching out there right now. It's tough.
Yeah, your
Tough
number one
spot.
starter wasn't able to go, so you had to start Orion Kirkering and then bring in Mercado, and that's what you're going to get. And ultimately Stubbsy.
While we're on this, while we're on this starting pitching conversation, I went back to 2011 because when we start comparing pitching staffs, start comparing the starting pitchers.
Look at him doing the work.
Yeah, well, listen, you came into the crossover. I was like, bored outside. What am I going to figure out? So went in. Starting pitching, when we want to compare great starting pitching in a recent timeline, we go back to 2011, the four aces. For the season in 2011, the four aces had a 2.70 ERA. How close do you think the top four starters for this Phillies team are to that staff right now?
I would say that they're right there.
Bid again, like
maybe 285.
A little bit better.
285 is an insane guess. 295 is the ERA from the top four starters right now.
Wow.
Like, if you roll into the playoffs with the pitching staff where your top four starters are 295 and all of them so far have gone over 100 innings, like showing you that they can get through the lineup. Like the top guys get through the lineup probably 3 times. Sanchez, I imagine we get to a postseason scenario, they'll trust him through there twice.
Oh, yeah.
I can't imagine any more than twice. You're lined up for a chance to win every time. So like if I had to, you use the word sustainability for the first half. If I had to use the word, it'd be dominant. For a first half. This is as dominant of a first half that, again, I've ever seen.
Can you sustain dominance?
With pitching like that, yeah.
Can you have? Well, see, that's what it all comes back to, and I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm really putting this out there for conversation. Dominance is a major thing, and not something that's easy to hold on to for a season. Maybe it's easier in football when you're the best team in football over a 17-game stretch. You maybe be able to dominate for 12 straight games and then go into a playoff, whatever. Or maybe over 17 games, you're a dominant team. For 162, the best team that gets 100 wins in a season, the best team in all of baseball, is all right. So you use domination. Is domination different than the best?
I think this team is the best team in baseball right now.
No, I agree with you.
Yeah.
Is domination is domination a word you can only sometimes use with the best team in baseball? Or is it a word you always use with the team that has the best record in baseball?
I would use it right now. Like looking at, if I guess you're going like a wide lens, year by year, I guess case by case, sure, like we could start checking off different years and figuring out who it is. I look at this team with the run differential they've got, with the way that they've pitched, and the fact that you look at the lineup from top to bottom right now, how many games have we really seen Schwarber, Turner, Harper, Real Muto all in the same lineup?
Exactly.
You haven't. And this team is 28 games over 500 at the break, at 3.5 up on the next best team in baseball, and 6.5 up on the next best team in the National League. To me, yeah, dominance equals best right now.
Okay.
You've been dominant when I haven't seen you at total strength offensively. And pitching-wise, I'm comparing the numbers to the four aces.
Yeah. No, you're exactly right.
And I understand.
Hey, I'm not looking for not praising this.
No, I understand when you talk about sustainability for this team, but if and we're going to get to the hitting side of all this with the Phillies, but when I look at this pitching staff right now, what's sustainable about them? Well, Wheeler's pitching at a 2.70 ERA. He's
Wheeler's
pitching like
Wheeler.
an ace.
Yes, exactly.
He's an ace. Aaron Nola, I honestly think there is probably a better second half than a first half numerically for him coming up. I do. I think he's just a horse. I think right now he's like the known commodity of what the second half is going to bring. You talk about Wheeler with a bad back right now. You're talking about Suarez and the number of innings. Sanchez, I could also throw in there with the number of innings. If I have someone that I feel comfortable with what the second half is going to be, Nola is that to me right now of any of them. Suarez, I think, is taking a step forward as a pitcher this season. And this last little stretch here, I think it is fatigue. I think, personally, it's only going to get back closer to where he was.
I agree it's fatigue.
Yeah. Sub-2 ERA is a lot to ask from a guy. That's insane. That's absurd. We were comparing the numbers early on. We were talking, I remember we had the conversation, probably the last time I sat in this chair, who's the MVP? And at that point, to me, it was Suarez, because Suarez's numbers lined up with the last time that a pitcher was MVP in terms of Clayton Kershaw. That was how insane he had been. And then for Sanchez, I think, again, another guy that's taken a step forward as a pitcher this season. Am I crazy to ask him to be sub-3 the rest of the season? Maybe, but I think he's going to be a solid, for what he is, fourth starter He's an all-star, and he's your fourth starter.
Well, that's funny. Like if you were to ask right now in 2011 if they had the same pitching staff right now, or you fast forward that pitching staff to this year and they're putting up the same numbers the current staff is, you would say, yeah, I would expect them to sustain that because we've seen the resume before, right? This year there's a little bit of unknown with Sanchez and Rangers specifically. That's why there's a question about can they sustain it. We'll see. I believe in them. It's not as much of a sure thing as 2011 was in my eyes because they don't have that resume to back it up.
Yeah, you had more Zach Wheelers on that 11 club than you had like Ranger Suarez's.
Exactly.
So like that's how you look at it. All right, if I were to ask the two of you about the bullpen, first half of the season, air quotes, we're going to say first half all day. We know it's past the halfway point, but it is the All-Star break. Give me a word to describe the bullpen for the Philadelphia Phillies in this first half of the season. And Ray, I'm going to start with B. Gunn.
Oh, one word.
One word to describe this bullpen for the first half of the season so far.
Timely.
That's a good word. That's a good
really,
word.
Man? Seriously? You know how hard I worked to get to this chair, and you use the word timely, and he just shows up to this program.
I think it's timely that you're in that chair right now.
You know what? Let's just turn over to B. Gunn. Forget it. This guy shows up and owns the midday show.
I was going to say, like, pressing all the right buttons is what I was going to say, but then timely came to my mind. But you bring in anybody at the right time, they're going out there and getting it done. And Rob Thompson just literally presses the right buttons, whether it's in the 6th, 7th, 8th inning, when he goes into a high-leverage situations, righty-lefty matchups. It's all working out this year, and I don't see that changing, honestly.
Top that, Ray.
Impressive. It's an impressive first half for them. Timely is a great way to put it. I think
it is
the way Thompson managed the staff.
Exactly.
Yeah, I understand. I feel bad. You know who I feel bad for today? Sir Anthony.
Tough situation yesterday.
Honestly, not even the tough situation. Just the fact that he had worked so hard to get that ERA under 4.
Yeah,
and then yesterday happens, and it's not going to get under 4 again. He's going to have to be lights out the rest of the way. It's a tough business you're in as a relief pitcher. A couple of bad outings. Like, he had a horrible April. He had been great for like 2 months. Yesterday happens, and I guarantee you someone right now in their car, how could you sit here and feel bad for Sir Anthony? And that's just the role of a relief pitcher.
Well, it's funny, like when Tom called earlier, Tom from Alabama, and he goes, yeah, the Sir Anthony and the Greg Soto, those are guys that, and like my mind just turned off for a second. Not that I wasn't listening to Tom. Those are two guys that during this season went through like 10, 12, 15 game stretches of being unhittable. And Strom has had that stretch. And Orion Kerkering has had that stretch. And it's like that's when they call for, and let alone Junior Marte hasn't even been able to get himself healthy at the best pitcher in all of baseball and the adopted son of this program. But when you think of that and what they've done, and yeah, you're going to have that. Sorry, you're going to have that all the time. It's why all relief pitchers don't have 1.2 ERAs is because they get blown up every once in a while. I think the arm that everybody says, I wouldn't mind one more arm in the bullpen. I don't know. I think it's there. I think it's already there, and it's among these guys. Look, in Hoffman, great, right? We're great with Hoffman this year. In Strom, I think we're okay with Strom for everything he's done this year. Kerkering, fine. More than fine.
More than fine, yeah.
Very, very good at a 1.24 ERA. Junior Marte's really hurt them. People aren't going to admit it, but it has. But anyway, Alvarado, I think, is hitting a little bit of a down swing right now.
Good time for rest for him, too.
Good time for rest for him. I'll give you that. Like the Sir Anthonys, the Sotos, they can be good and have shown long stretches this year of being good. That's why I say maybe that outside arm is already here. It just has to be made sure it's a good time for them.
It's interesting. I would love your feedback on this one because it's a question I've been rattling around in my mind.
All right. How big of a question is it? Is it huge? Should we save it?
It's something you can think about. Yeah, we'll save it. We'll come back with it. We'll come back with the thought.
I didn't know how we wanted to tease it. If you want to tease it now, we could do that. Maybe some people want to answer it at 610-632-0975.
Here's the thought I've had.
Here it is.
We talk about adding an arm at the deadline. And
right.
All good teams, whatever. Would you rather see them add a Lorenzen type who can fill the role of both starting for you and probably when you get to the postseason figures as a bullpen arm? Or would you rather them add the high leverage, crazy electric 1-inning type guy? And the reason I ask that for you is because you're going to have innings I think you have to cover in this second half when we talk about the health of these pitchers. Would you want to see that type of arm where, again, I think they become useful again in the postseason? Or are you so concerned about the back end of this bullpen, and this is for the people out there, that you would want to see that high leverage addition? I'm curious for you out there at 610-632.
Yeah, it's interesting. So Ray's putting it out there, that question about the bullpen pitching, what kind of arm to shorten it up, what kind of arm would you like to see them get for the bullpen, or do you think they need an arm? Should they concentrate elsewhere on what they're going to do by the trade deadline? 610-632-0975. A lot of Phillies talk so far today. We're also going to get into the Sixers making a couple of signings this weekend. One, I think, precedes making more moves. Also, Eagles. They start a little over a week. Can't wait for that. To me, it's like first day of school. When Eagles get out there on the field, I just love it. It's awesome. A new season's coming up. So we got that and a whole lot more. This is Middays. Bob Cooney, 97.5 The Fanatic. welcome back as we get to the 11:30 mark of the show today on this steamy, sticky, soupy Monday. You know, you talk about the hazy, hot, and humid, the 3 H's. Those were the 3 S's for you, right? I'm looking to expand your knowledge when it comes to the weather.
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds good. Yeah, I forget
Doesn't care about weather.
Not really.
You know all this, Begun, right?
Like, you
know
just
this?
planned a trip to Pittsburgh and didn't look if
Doesn't
the weather
know.
was even going to be nice to spend a weekend in another city?
You know how many people plan trips so far in advance? Like, what are you pulling out the almanac? Oh,
No, I'm not. All right,
next June I'm going somewhere tropical. What's the weather going to be like?
All right, we're
Come
not
on.
saying that. Have you looked at all?
No.
Have you heard at all what the
No.
weather's going to be like in Pittsburgh? So
not
you're
at
just
all.
going to wait until someone tells you?
It's
One of your
summertime
friends
in
is-
Pennsylvania.
So you're going to drive to a rainy, wet city, and it's going to be all rained out. No baseball games, hypothetically.
It's going to be 80 degrees. If it's
Well, you're not going to
summer
cancel
rain,
the trip anyway, even if
yeah,
it does rain.
No, I can't cancel at this point. If it's a summer rain, it's going to be 80 degrees and raining. I think I'll be okay in a t-shirt and shorts.
Might have to pack some extra clothes.
I always pack extra. I'm always someone that's packing extra couple outfits just in case, man. What
Outfits?
Outfits? Yeah, absolutely.
I never use that word, outfits.
Yeah, well, a shirt,
Interesting.
t-shirt, shorts. That's an outfit. Yeah,
Okay.
so that's like when I pack. Okay, this is for one day of the trip. This
Right.
is for another day of the trip. This
Right.
is for another day of the trip. Then there's usually, if it's a 3-day trip, like it's going to be, there's probably going to be 2 more like t-shirts, 2 more shorts thrown in there.
Right.
That I consider an outfit.
Right.
Instead of saying I'm packing extra shorts, shirts,
Yeah,
socks, underwear, like I'm just packing extra days worth.
So-
I pack 5 days for a 3-day trip.
Right. Okay. So in my old life, right now, I would be in Las Vegas
Right.
for the Summer League. So you're planning on being out there, it's like 2 weeks at least. And then if they get to a championship, which I never was really concerned about, but it would be like 8, what'd you call them, outfits?
Outfits.
All right, so I would get
Yeah.
8 pairs of shorts and 8 golf shirts, and I would wrap them up together, roll it together. So for 8 straight days, I knew what I was wearing. And then after that, it's kind of I would bring extra golf shirts or T-shirts or whatever, and then I would just match them up with the short. You can wear shorts again without
Yeah,
washing them.
absolutely.
Shirts in 116-degree heat, you're probably going to want to change them up. So, yeah, that's how I would pack for a Las Vegas. Carry on, no problem.
oh, yeah, carry on,
Ready to
yeah.
rock
I
and
got to
roll.
take a page out of your book because you do the matching up at home. I usually get my favorite shirts and my favorite shorts, and they don't match at all, and then I get yelled at when I get there.
Yeah,
Yelled at by who?
My significant other, my lovely girlfriend.
Yeah, I was going to say. I don't know who
I
else
don't
is
care
yelling.
what I wear.
Yeah, I was...
I was wondering if you were looking in the mirror like, I can't believe I didn't match these up. Like,
No.
The Green Goblin.
Yeah.
Like, I'd get that back in the day where it might be a Tuesday night. My wife would say, aren't you flying out tomorrow? And yeah, what time's your flight? 6 a.m. Have you even thought of packing? It'd be like 10 o'clock at night. Have you even thought of packing yet? I'm like, yeah, I know what's up there. I know what I'm doing. But when you traveled as much as like some people do or as I used to, it kind of is second nature.
the beauty of the summer array, I'm just flying by the seat of my
Oh,
pants.
God, is it the summer of Ray? It certainly is.
Yeah, no one's yelling at me, so I'm good.
Oh, no one's going to yell at you. We're just all jealous of you.
No, I mean just in terms of outfit attire. Like, yeah.
Oh, no.
No one's
You're
upset
pretty
with what I'm
simple
wearing.
man.
Yeah.
You're a simple man.
Yeah.
I would
absolutely.
assume the most stressed up you've gotten this year was probably on a vacation number. I guess it was one.
Easily the most dressed up I got was sitting in this chair or sitting in that chair when I was making the point about the suit. I think that's the only time I've worn a suit this year.
Oh, that's true too. Yeah, you did wear
so
a
far
suit.
this year, yeah. I think when I go to the wedding Labor Day weekend, that'll be the second time I wear a suit this year.
Same suit?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. Different. Yeah. I'm going to step it up, man.
Suits.
Well, no,
Are
I've got
you in the
one
wedding?
suit, but like
Are you in the wedding?
I've got different shirts I can wear under it.
Sure.
I've got, yeah.
Yeah. Are you in the wedding?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. There's some of the friends, some of the people from high school are, so we're trying to maneuver all that. I'm doing a lot of planning right now, Bob. This is getting stressful.
And you're planning not only for yourself, but for others.
Yeah, I'm planning our dinner when we all get in town. It's a lot.
It's
lot
scary.
going on.
I'm a little nervous for you.
I'm not nervous. I'm not
Okay.
nervous. No.
All right.
No. I got the hotel chain in which I booked through. Very, very difficult.
Yeah.
Very difficult. That was a stressful thing on Saturday. Other than that, I got my life together on Saturday, Bob. You'd be proud.
I'm always proud of you.
I grew up like 10 years on Saturday.
Did you?
Yeah.
I'm
Went right back to it Saturday night, but for about 3 or 4 hours there on Saturday afternoon, I took care of a lot.
Yeah, so you and my son Kyle, who just moved back, they're about the same age.
Mm-hmm.
and there must have been something in the 24, 25-year-old soup this weekend. But talked to him at one point, like, no, I got to do stuff around the apartment, and I'm going to study on like a Saturday.
Is
like,
it
ooh,
too hot
impressive.
to be eating soup? You mentioned soup right there.
Yeah. To me, it is.
Interesting.
Yeah.
No?
Yo, 100%. That being said, I had clam chowder when I went to Boston 3 weeks ago. I had to do that. I would not have soup right now. I'd
you know what?
throw
I'm
up.
lying, though, because, like, I'm going to go down crabbing with my brother-in-law in a few weeks, and we're going to catch crabs and then cook them up that day, and we might even make some crab soup. Maryland crab soup? No, I could eat that 24/7.
Yeah, I got miso soup
lying.
the other, like, a week or two ago. I got yelled at by friends. Too hot for soup. I like a good miso soup. I don't care what the weather is.
I mean, you eat hot meals. What difference does hot soup make?
That's what I'm saying. I don't think
I
it's
never
too
thought
hot
of
for
it
soup.
like that, but that's a great point.
You know, we don't eat cold. Like, oh, yeah, can you give me that steak cold, too? Because it is summertime. Yeah, we're not doing that an awful lot.
No, I don't think it's too hot for soup. I would eat soup right now.
My patience was tested so badly yesterday. And you guys will appreciate this because you know me a little bit. I'm not that patient of a person. Like, it's, all right, let's go. And that's why I'm day-to-day, hour-to-hour. So I brought a rib roast that I was going to put on the grill yesterday. So I haven't cooked many of them on a grill, you know, and my wife doesn't look at it. I like them in the crock pot, but my wife doesn't like it like that. So I said, okay, I'll put it on the grill. So the night before I started looking up, and I'm like, man, is this a low and slow type of thing? Do you know how to cook it? And it is. Sear it, which I know on a lot of things, but then put it on the other side of the grill, on the cool side of the grill, and let it cook for like an hour and a half. I'm not good at that. So I put it on the grill yesterday. I see the rain coming. So I'm like, all right, be patient, be patient. I sear. I get a great sear on it. Then I got to move it to the cooler side of the grill. Move it over, and like, I felt like I was waiting for my first kid to come out or something. I'm like shaking, like, I got to go play. I got to go. No. I got to go.
What were you going to go play with, Bob? Tell him what you were going to go play with.
Got to go turn the meat. So I was getting like anxious, and I'm turning. It turned out perfectly. I mean, it was like one of those shows where when I sliced it, it was like they're showing the inside. Look at the moisture. Look at it. Now you got to cover it and let it. Well, actually, you let it rest for about 15, 20 minutes before you slice it because you have to let the juices.
Can we do like
coagulate.
a cooking series with you?
We could. I used to do a thing like that. Maybe we'll do that.
I know you did that. I know. I remember you doing that. But I just mean like I don't know. We invite Dylan out to your house, and he starts videotaping the whole.
Easy.
Well, I think it'd be fun.
No, so do I. You guys are always invited.
I am very good at the standing there having a beer and watching someone else cook. So that would be my.
You don't
role
like
in the
cooking
show.
at all.
No, I do like cooking. I am.
You don't
not
have a lot
as,
to practice.
Yeah, I'm not as skilled as others. So.
Begun, you a cooker? Griller?
I try my best. I'm learning along the way.
All right.
I can grill a little bit. Cooking as far as at home, I'm not the best at it. I want to get better, but I'm not there yet.
I think I'm a better cooker than a griller, and I do a lot of both.
I'm a better consumer than a cooker.
I agree with that.
Yeah. I'm
I'd rather cook than do the dishes.
I'm a good admirer.
I don't. Brendan Petrilli says he's are you a cooker or a consumer? Both. Okay. He's both. And he's just rubbing his belly out there, so I think he's good at both of them, consuming and Dylan's a good cook.
What is this?
Dylan's dad's dad is a chef, I believe, so Dylan has it in his blood.
Oh, is that right? I never knew that.
I believe so.
How about that? What? What is what?
I'm always in that room, so I don't realize what a distraction, like the fact that we're in like a fish tank here, if people just walking by, staring at us.
Oh, wait, Ricky. Is Ricky here today? If Ricky's here today.
He's on vacation this week. No Ricky this week.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you're right. Oh, yeah, it's crazy out there.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Yeah, we even had I won't bring that up. We had somebody from another station come by here one time and pose on the glass.
Oh, I know that. I was in there for that. Trust me, that made its way around the office. I heard about that.
Yeah, that was fun. You know what else is fun? FanFest. That's right. FanFest 2024 ticket rate is on Tuesday, July 23rd. 97.5 The Fanatic FanFest 2024 with FanDuel. It's Saturday, September 28th at Xfinity Live. I'm telling you, it's one of the most fun days of the year. It is such a great time. You got to get down there. We'd love to see you. Get your tickets during our next online ticket raid, which is Tuesday, July 23rd at 9 a.m. at 975thefanatic.com. FanFest is the biggest party of the year for Philly sports fans. All of us hosts, producers, everybody whose name you've ever heard on this station is going to be there. There's going to be celebrity guests, Philly sports legends, activities, games, prizes, a whole lot more. All you have to do is go to 975thefanatic.com to get all the info. Okay, when we get back, we have some text messages from you about the Phillies, about what we talked about in the pitching. We're talking about sustainability. So we're going to look at the Phillies hitting for this year. At the plate, what is sustainable moving forward? What is something that maybe you don't think can happen moving forward, or something you think may even get better moving forward? We'll break it down. We'd love to hear from you. 610-632-0975. Ray Dunn's with me all week long as our co-host. We got B Gun producing today. I'm Bob Cooney. This is Middays, 97.5 The Fanatic. As we approach the noon hour, we're talking a lot of Phillies today, pretty much all Phillies so far. We'll get to other things as we move forward, but I thought it was cool to like kind of assess what the Phillies have done in this first half, air quotes, of the season. And we got a little off track with soups and meat and grilling and cooking and all those kind of things.
Yeah, you had a lot of conversation we had there.
We did. And Ray had a really good question, I thought, leading into the last segment that we didn't get a chance to get to. So if you don't mind, Ray, ask it again. Give B-Gun and myself a chance to answer what it is because, quite frankly, I forget what your question was. No, I'm kidding. I know it was bullpen.
If the Phillies are to add an arm at the deadline, would you prefer it be a Michael Lorenzen type that can give you starts, and when you get to the postseason, can end up being a reliever?
All right, stop there, if you don't mind, because my mind isn't that good at remembering them all. I think you have them. So, like, in a Turnbull and maybe a Phillips and maybe those guys, if we're comparing it to Michael Lorenzen, who they probably screwed a little bit by making him throw 126 pitches and a no-hitter, and then he wasn't much after that.
God forbid he had the moment of his life.
No, I'm not saying screwed. I don't mean in that way. You're right. You're absolutely right. I didn't mean it in that way. But his season seemed to be, like, over after that. I think they have enough of those guys right now. B-Gun, I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I think they do have enough of those guys. And if you're asking me what the season's all about, it has always been about October to me. And Michael Lorenzen and those types are, I don't want to say useless in October, but you're in a position where
Taijuan Walker and Lorenzen weren't used.
If you need a Michael Lorenzen in the postseason, it means you're down 8 runs in the first inning. Like, and by then it's you're terrible anyway.
So I will come back at this when I finish the question.
Okay.
So the question again, if the Phillies are to add an arm at the deadline, would you rather it be a Michael Lorenzen type that can start for you here in the August, September portion of the season and then be a reliever in the postseason? Or would you rather see them add that high leverage guy, a la fill in your favorite 100-mile-per-hour throwing guy on a team that stinks? That's the question posed out to you for the people out there.
So since I just totally poo-pooed the first part of it, I guess my answer would have to be the second part of it. Now, a question to your question. Are you talking about specifically a closer or another arm?
See, I don't want to say specifically a closer because they don't have a closer. Like that, I don't think
that's what I mean. Are they going to get one because I think they have to have a specific closer?
Do you think that they would operate like that? That just doesn't seem like...
He did last year with Kimbrel.
Until August.
Yeah, but he was still using him as his closer, but for some reason he was putting him in the ninth inning. I mean, in the 8th inning.
He was starting to taper off because he wasn't as good, and they realized, I'm just going to use the guy that's throwing the best. I'm going to use the guys that the most prominent role is going to go to whatever timing I need it.
So I have 2 thoughts on this. If you bring in that hard thrower you're talking about, and I don't know, was there a plane ride made yesterday to Texas with a certain Oakland A's reliever? I don't know. I'm just wondering. But if you do bring in a guy that you say, that's all he is a closer, it makes me feel good in that now Alvarado you use if you're, dancing in your head having to use him as a closer. Now he's a left-handed reliever situational guy, of which you have many, in Strom, in Soto. But probably your high-end, high-leverage left-handed reliever along with Strom. It also says that Hoffman you could either still use, you could use as an 8th inning guy. Maybe you use him with the other closer in the 9th inning. I just think it elevates everybody else a little bit also. So, of those 2 scenarios you gave, yeah, I'd rather have the high-throwing, high-leverage, hard-throwing guy in the bullpen.
So you said, I think, earlier this hour or at the end of the 10 o'clock hour, you felt pretty comfortable with the arms back there right now, right?
I think you do have the arms, yes.
Okay. I also believe that. And for me, I go back to last season and we relitigate things. Sometimes we get carried away with it. I go back to Game 4 of the NLCS, and my problem with Kimbrel coming into that game, I think, is solved if Lorenzen comes into that game earlier and covers multiple innings for you. And for me, if I look at this team right now and I look at their starting depth, it's there. They have it compared to the rest of Major League Baseball. We talked about, we can debate who should be the 5th starter if they go to a 6-man rotation, what that would be. I feel very comfortable with the back end of this bullpen to the point where, if they add another 100-mile-per-hour throwing guy, I'm not going to be sitting here kicking and screaming like, I don't know why you did that. No, it would be great for them. The more guys with electric stuff you have, the better. I
Sure.
think they've got 6 of those guys right now.
Exactly.
Sir Anthony and Soto, you're trying to figure out where they're at right now, whether you can harness that really into the postseason. I think Kerkering stepped into that role very nicely. Obviously, Hoffman, Strahm, all-stars. I trust Alvarado way more than I think. I would say I hate to use the average fan, but I think that like the way the fan base feels about him, I think I feel stronger about him than I think the fan base does. So I look at those 6 guys, I feel great about them. I would be interested in someone that can give me innings towards the end of this season and also be a bulk guy in the postseason. I think it's a cheaper deal than you would get for a 100-mile-per-hour guy, and I think if I look at the grand stretch of a 7-game series, that role can become valuable for you, and I think it's valuable for you in August and September where I'm not turning innings over to a, say a Mercado or Phillips has been solid to start and maybe ends up being that guy in this conversation. I don't think you need an arm in general, but if you are to get an arm, I don't hate going down the Lorenzen path from a year ago of a guy that could be a starter for you in August, September, and ultimately still plays the role of a reliever in the postseason.
Or my mind goes with this. Do you believe that Rob Thompson, given that game 4, it happens all over again this postseason? Is he going to a Lorenzen, or is he trusting those 6 guys to go out there and get 1 inning apiece? I don't know if he's correcting his mistake, or I don't even want to say a mistake because he's so great at using his bullpen. I think he's going to lean towards using those guys that he trusts more so than a guy that's a Lorenzen caliber guy.
So do I.
This could also be, and this also takes it to the conversation about how much they trust Sanchez. Do you even have that situation happen again? Because you probably have Sanchez go through the lineup twice. So I just think that there is a potential role for a guy like that on this team, given the number of innings they have to cover towards the end of the season. The fact I'd like them to protect Suarez's arm, to protect Sanchez's arm, to protect right now Wheeler's back. I would see that type of role with a guy that can get innings. Now, ideally, Taijuan Walker comes back and Phillips covers until you get Turnbull.
Right.
Maybe
Turnbull gets healthy. Now you have 3 of those guys.
You might.
Maybe. But also, if you grab somebody, it's a might also.
Right.
Lorenzen was a might.
Yeah. And, I go back to, because someone will end up coming back with the Rob Thompson thing. I will remind you, Jason Stark was on with the best show ever. After that happened, talked about how that was an organizational plan. So I take issue with the organization not putting Lorenzen into the plan for that game than anything Thompson did. Because I don't want to turn this into a Rob Thompson conversation that we should not have when the guy's 28 games over 500. I still see it, Bob. Someone's going to immediately tweet at us, comment on YouTube. Thompson. I guarantee
no
it.
chance.
Right? They're winning in spite. I'm sure. There's someone out there listening right now. I know that. I know they are, Bob.
That's going to happen. I don't think so at all. All right, when we get back, we've looked at the pitching. Now it's time to look at the offense and the name that Ray just mentioned. Rob Thompson. Has he overachieved? Is he sustainable in what he's doing? I think B-Gun just brought up a great point that I think about Rob Thompson in the playoffs. He looks to win innings. I don't think he looks to eat innings. I think he looks to win innings. That comes into his managerial play. What have you liked about what Rob Thompson's done? There's plenty of it in the first half of the season. What maybe haven't you liked? You know that I have a little sprinkling of something that bothers me just a little bit. We'll get to all that and a whole lot more. This is Middays, 97.5 The Fanatic. Happy Monday at noon, everybody. Hope you're having a great one. Soupy day out there. Be careful if you're out there working, as we always tell you. Everybody else, if you see anybody out there working, you want to, I don't know, do something nice, maybe a Gatorade or something. Just make sure everybody's safe and good out there. Hey, I want to tell you about the Fanatic Deal of the Week, the Funplex. Check out the Fanatic Deal of the Week. You can get 2 single-day wristbands for the price of 1 at the Funplex in Mount Laurel, New Jersey. Experience unforgettable summer thrills at the Funplex. Each wristband offers unlimited access to indoor rides, Splashplex Water Park, 1 hour of bowling, and select video games. You get to do it all. It's awesome. Get this exclusive offer while supplies last at 975thefanatic.com/deals. Have some friends that had kids that worked there at the old Funplex. Yeah. So really, really cool place. Make sure you get on the Fanatic, 975thefanatic.com/deals, and take a look at it. All right, we're into a lot of Phillies talk as we're at the halfway point, sort of, kind of, unofficially. Because it is the All-Star break, you have one of my favorite non-real sports things going on tonight, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But, B-Gun, we got some text messages. We've been talking about pitching in the Phillies so far. What's sustainable, maybe what's not sustainable. Different things there. We're going to get into the hitting also. We're also going to get into Rob Thompson. But we talked about the pitching, both starters and relievers. And what did we get, B-Gun, as far as text messages went?
Yeah, we got a nameless guy in the 215 checking in. Now, I don't agree with the premise of it, of his text. I'll say that. But he says Dominguez and Alvarado have proven they cannot be completely trusted in the postseason. Go out and get a Mason Miller all day, every day. You have to go all in at this point.
Sure, Mason Miller intrigues everybody, right? And he was on a private jet today, or yesterday after the game, with, Bryce Harper and Trey Turner and the 17 other Philly All-Stars that were going to be on there. Yeah, probably some good conversation to be had, I guess.
Yeah, probably.
I wouldn't mind Mason Miller.
Miller for Miller swap?
Too much.
I mean, just seeing that guy pitch in person, like 104, but just multiple times 104, dude, and he has a cannon. I don't think I'd want to give up what it's going to take to get a guy like that, but I don't hate it.
I'll give up anything but Aiden Miller. Pretty much.
I'd have a tough time saying no.
Somebody might have been a tweet, so it didn't, not to discount. I don't remember who it was, so I don't think it was a right or anything like that. But somebody was like, Johan Rojas, would you include him in on that? And I was like, no, I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean, it all depends upon the deal. If you're upgrading center field, and there's no role for him on the team.
No, you're not. I'm just for Mason Miller.
Oh, just now. Nah, I'm cool. Thanks, though.
Yeah, no,
Pass on that.
I'm good. I'll give up a prospect, maybe even 2, not named Aiden Miller. And Andrew Painter, sure, I think so. As we said, it's all in. But you still have, if you still have Aiden Miller down there, I'm good with that. If you want to throw in a Christian Pache. I'm kidding.
Yeah, on the other side.
Taking him.
We'll take it without him.
Can we have him back again? Because we didn't see enough of him the first time.
I would like to pose this to that unnamed texter, if I might. If I don't smack the microphone as I try and pose this question to that text.
Ray's for those just a little behind the scene, Ray is amped up today.
Yeah.
Like, we had a group of about 10 of us in here during the break, and Ray was holding court, yelling at people up and down. You're amped today.
It's the second cup of coffee, for sure. We'll taper it back to 1 for tomorrow.
Okay.
I would like to know if that texter enjoyed the 2008 bullpen. Did you enjoy the 2008 bullpen?
I did, yeah. It was a nice 1, 2, 3.
The bridge to Lidge, iconic.
Yeah.
You enjoyed that?
Loved it.
So far this season, I just took a Baseball Reference lists out the 5 relievers that have pitched the most games for a team. So if you go back to 2008, I just took the 5 that pitched the most games for them that season. And I took the 5 that pitched the most games so far for this team this season.
You're really doing some homework today. I really appreciate this.
Just crunching some numbers, man.
Attaboy.
The 5 relievers that threw the most games in 2008 had a 2.79 ERA in the regular season. I would say that's pretty good.
Yep.
Pretty good. Pretty good. You look at 2024, Bob. How do you think that compares?
I'm going to be honest and say I have no damn clue. Are we just talking Phillies?
Phillies, yeah. Top
Oh, okay.
5 relievers.
Give me the number and 8 again.
2.79 5 relievers that threw the most games for the Phillies in the 2008 regular season.
I'll say the 5 relievers that have thrown the most innings now.
Games.
I'll go 2.25.
Okay, you're
I was going to say 2.21.
you guys are very optimistic here. 2.87. The point was
okay.
it's right around where that 2008 team, the relievers included in those relievers, Sir Anthony Dominguez, and I believe Soto is also in terms of most games that you've seen so far. 2 guys that, scary. I'm afraid of those guys coming in throwing innings. I'm sorry if you're afraid of Alvarado still, and we get Alvarado throws too many balls. Alvarado's walk rate as a Philly is lower than Brad Lidge's in 2008.
That's a stat for you.
That is pretty good.
Yeah,
Well, that just goes back to people make their mind up on a player and they never erase it. That's just who he is for the rest of his career here. Even though it's not true, even though there's no numbers to back it up.
Yeah,
that's the way they're going to always think. It's unfortunate.
I get scared.
I'm
when he
guilty
loses
of
the
it
zone.
though.
When he loses the zone, yeah, I'll admit it. It scares me.
Well,
Large sample size of him as a reliever though tells me that that one day is going to terrify me. The rest of them are pretty darn good.
And I got to Ray will tell you that I surprised myself twice this year by finding that Soto had a streak of going what he was going for, and I was like, whoa. He went like 11 outings in June that he didn't give up a run or gave up 1 earned run. And then the time that Sir Anthony Dominguez went for almost a month, and it was like, oh my God, did I miss this? Like everybody's still down on him. He's having some great outings. So it's all up and down, especially with baseball, probably more than any other sport because it's numbers driven. B-Gun, what else do we got? Anything?
Yeah, we got Dawood checking in. He's got a fun question for you guys. Home run derbies tonight.
Yes.
He mentions yesterday was also a home run derby. I believe the A's hit 8 home runs yesterday.
8 home runs for an average of 417 feet.
Does Alec Boehm go more over or under that total? And does he hit anyone further than any of Rooker's yesterday?
Wow. Rooker hit one 459, 450?
452, I believe.
452, okay. I think he hits more than 8. I'll take the over on that. Ray's thinking about it. I will say, does he hit one further than 452? I say no.
No.
You're going to no.
Yeah, I'll go both no.
Wow, you think he's going to have a bad outing in this home run derby?
Listen,
I almost
man.
want him to be out quickly. I don't know.
What?
I worry about, are you changing something up? He's a gap hitter. He's not a home run hitter. Don't start thinking you're something you're not. I'm obviously teasing. They say, the guys, the announcers the other day, I don't know if you heard it, I believe it was Tom McCarthy said, I know a lot of people think he's a doubles hitter, but if you watched him in batting practice before games, like apparently he ropes in batting practice. And that's cool if that's how it prepares him for a game.
That's great.
Yeah.
Doubles don't count as home runs. I love what he is as a hitter.
What if he starts running?
I honestly just don't want Pete Alonso doing well. That's like
no, and he hit one yesterday, I think, and it's like, oh, he's getting ready for the home run. I'm like, oh God, if there's one thing I can't stand, and I'll admit it, I'll throw it out there. I apologize if anybody rolls their eyes when I say this. I love the home run hitting contest. I told Ray earlier, when I was a kid, and I still do, I look forward to the baseball All-Star game. I love watching the baseball All-Star game.
It's my favorite All-Star weekend in general. I just remember growing up with my friends. We would always get together, watch the home run derby the night before, watch the All-Star game together. I don't know if it's nostalgia the way I'm looking at it or whatnot, but I always still look forward to it more so than any other All-Star weekend.
I think it's just caveman for me. I like to see ball hit far.
Ball far.
Yeah, I don't know. I just like the brute strength. I like the home run derby of show me how well you can mash that baseball.
I'll put the second thing behind home run derby as far as the real game is probably the 3-point contest.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You got 3-point overs.
I've lost it on the dunk contest.
Yeah, I mean, it's just boring now.
It is,
They
right?
run out G-Leaguers. Mac McClung was fun, right? He won back-to-back and all
exactly.
that. But that's not who I want to see out there. 3-pointers, you're still getting the Steph Currys. You got who Karl Anthony Towns won this year. You don't expect a big man to win it, so he put on a show. It's cool. You still get the stars in that dunk contest. No, I can't get with it anymore.
I would have the 3-point contest to close out the evening, honestly, in terms of basketball.
All right, let's take Steph Curry out of it. If you had number one pick of anybody in a 3-point contest, who would it be? Because I got mine and people are going to hate me for it.
Tell me you're just going to have Buddy Hield take the 3.
No, because he needed one last one to win it, and he took the shot, and before it even went towards the basket, he raised number 1 in the air, and that was Larry Bird.
Oh, all time.
All
I
time.
thought you were talking currently. I didn't hear all time. I heard currently.
I said anyone. In my mind, I was thinking all time.
Yeah, I'll go Ray Allen.
That's a pretty good one.
Yeah.
I like to see Peja Stojakovic.
Wow. All right.
Well, that out of his page.
He was awesome back when I was growing up.
Yeah. No, that's a good one.
Back when I was growing up.
Yeah, back when I was a kid.
Peja guy. They don't talk about
They still played in cages back then.
They did.
All right, here we go. And no, before anybody says that, I did not play in cages. Phillies batting. We're talking sustainability. We're talking about what are you looking for the second half of the season. Now, I'll bring up one that's going to be a big topic of conversation right off the bat, and it's Nick Castellanos. 230. He was down in like the 220s, the 2 teens or whatever, and I think you and I agreed on this, Ray. We said it on air. Like, I think he's going to hit like 240 when the season comes to an end, which means he's probably going to hit. It had to be somewhere around 280 for the rest of the year in order to get up there. He started to climb, and he got up to close to the 240 mark, 238, I think he was. But during that time, there's been some good stuff, like we saw a monster home run on Saturday to dead center field. But there's also been the plate approach, the 2 words that was so big on our morning show last year during the playoffs. He still swings it 95% of the first pitches. 90% of the time, it seems, he's at a 1-2 count. And he's down to 233. He's got 13 home runs, 47 RBIs. He has struck out he struck out 91 times so far.
Once a game.
What?
Out.
Yeah. What do you went 0 for 3 yesterday with 3 strikeouts? So there's maybe some recency bias. What does Nick Castellanos do for the rest of this year? Is it what he's done? Is it more likely that he's going to be better, like to a point he's Nick Castellanos that you wanted him to be? Last year was a really good year. What is he this second half of the season to you? I don't have trust in it. I don't. I'm keeping him out there every day, but I just don't trust it. And when plate approach comes into – look, you can have a good plate approach. I'll give you an example just quickly because we're going to go to him later. Bryson Stott looks off to me. It's not approach. It's not anything. Something's off. And maybe he fixed it during this time off. Nick Castellanos' plate approach, to me, doesn't seem right. And when he's swinging at pretty much 90%, 95% of first pitches, to me, that's not a great approach. I don't think it's going to get all that much better in the second half. What do you think?
If you're asking Nick Castellanos to be a different hitter than what he's been, I don't think it's getting better. Like the approach
but he was last year. Last year he had 100 and like some RBIs.
He did.
29 home runs, 36 doubles.
I don't think his approach is all that different. I think that he just had one of those scorching stretches to begin the season last year, and that kind of carried it first couple months of the season. Like I don't think he was all of a sudden we were like, look at him taking that pitch there. No, he see ball, hit ball for him. Like I think that's kind of where he's at. Like they
but he's not
about,
hitting the ball.
Well,
he sees ball, he doesn't hit it.
I think over the last 41 games, he's hit 278. Like that's
is that right?
Yeah. So
okay.
like I think since like the end of May, like he's been kind of the player he's been through his career. Do I think it's going to keep like that? Like if I think he's like a 250 hitter with like a 310, 320 on base that drives in runs for you, that is going to frustrate you at times because you're going to see games like yesterday where you're like, dude, what are you swinging at? Like, I don't think I'm ever going to sit there during a Castellanos at bat and see like a masterclass of like working a count.
Like a 9-pitch at bat where he gets a single with 2 strikes.
No. I think that ultimately it's going to be when he is on, it's like, wow, what a show we're going to be treated to. When he's off, it's going to be, oh, God.
1-2 again. Just start him at 1 and 2 because that's what it is all the time. Do either one of you have Philly stats up right now? Be honest.
No, I just have Casties.
Oh. B-Gun, on-base percentage for Castellanos.
On base? He's not walking much either. So, I mean, I can't imagine it's above like 275. Like, it's got to be like
289.
Oh, okay. So,
yeah.
it's not...
Yeah, it's not good.
It's not good.
No,
there's no way you can repackage that one. Yeah, I appreciate you trying to repackage that for him. No,
we appreciate you, and that's all that matters. But no, on this one. All right, let's go to the third baseman. He's an all-star this year. He was a guy that last year you were saying, man, really like this kid. He improved defensively so much. I mean, right now he's just a vacuum over there. Like, there's not a play I don't think he really doesn't make all that often. There's going to be errors by third baseman, shortstops. We know that. Alec Bohm has turned into it. You're not agreeing?
Oh, no, he's better as a fielder. Yeah,
He's very solid as a third baseman, I would say. You don't think he's solid?
it's all right as a third baseman. Yeah.
Wow. B-Gun, am I overstating this? I think he's above
like I
average.
said, I have your back today, Bob, and I'm not even being facetious when I say it. I think he is.
He's better than what he was. Yeah.
No, but he
was
not
bad. He's now, I think he's above average now.
I agree with Bob.
Thank you. That's what we'll go with then.
Yeah, sure.
Alec Bohm, but we're talking hitting today. Leads the team with 107 hits going to the All-Star break. Leads the league in doubles with 33 right now. 11 home runs, 70 RBI. He's been tinkering up there. Leads the team in total bases by far with 175. Next closest is Kyle Schwarber with 146. He's hitting 295 so far this year. Not a lot of strikeouts, only 56. Alec Bohm moving forward, is this sustainable, Ray?
Yeah.
You know, I think so. I'll build on it, and then I'll let you build on it. I think so, too, because I don't think he's doing things he isn't built or made to do, and that's hitting the ball in gaps and down lines. That's who he is. Good RBI guy for the last 2 years. I think we're seeing out of Alec Bohm exactly what Alec Bohm is, and that is this.
This is about the ceiling of what you would expect from him.
Oh, so ceiling makes me – now, see, you said ceiling. That makes me think non-sustainable.
No, that makes me think that if you were talking about the best he could get as a baseball – like, I've given up on the whole, like, he's going to be this, thumping third baseman that's hitting,
I never
homers.
thought that.
Yeah. Like, this is, to me, like, if you're talking about the best, that I think that Alec Bohm is an all-star level guy that hits around 300 and drives and runs. I don't think it's a detriment to him. I don't think it's a negative. I don't think it's something where I'm looking at the second half and say he's going to fall off. I think he's reached what you would want him, what realistically he is as a ball player.
Okay. All right.
I think that's a great thing.
And it's sustainable.
Yeah, and I think he can hit around 300 and drive and runs the rest of the season.
Okay.
So,
all right. B-Gun, fair assessment by both of us?
Yeah, I'm right there with you guys. We're talking about a guy, he has 70 RBIs, and it feels like he hasn't had an RBI in like 2 weeks. That's what it feels like. But he's still up there. He's sitting right around, like 297 or something?
295, yeah.
295. Yeah, I mean, he's going to go out there and continue to do this. He's having his, I don't know if I would say his 2022 Jalen Hurts type of season where that's as high as he's ever going to get, but I think he's going to go out there and just continue to do this for years to come, let alone the second half of the season. I think we got a solid guy for years to come with Alec Bohm.
All right. I'm good with that also, even though Ray hates his fielding. Let's go Kyle Schwarber. Kyle Schwarber, let's not compare to any other years. Let's just talk about what he's done the first half of this year so far. And we're talking about 321 at bats. So he gets up there, 65 runs. And the reason I bring this up, he is our leadoff hitter. 65 runs, 80 hits this year. 19 of them are home runs, 54 RBI. As I said, second on the team, total bases 146. He has struck out 107 times, most on the team. Also has walked 65 times, most on the team. 249 average, 376 on-base percentage. I'll start off. There's nothing Kyle Schwarber has done this year that I haven't said, whoa, look at that. And there's nothing he's done this year that I said, look at that. I think he's right where I thought he would be. A little bit higher average and a higher on-base percentage. I'm fine. I think he's going to be like this for the rest of the year, Kyle Schwarber.
Yeah, this has been tremendous for me. Like, we were talking in June about, where's the power surge? And then it started to happen again, and then he got hurt. And to me, this is the epitome of what you wanted when you got him. Like, he's hitting 250. He's got 376 on base percentage. He's comfortable at the top spot. And, man, I would hate to be a pitcher just trying to get one over to start the game.
Yeah.
Like that, like, you
he
just
looks
can't.
comfortable too, right?
Yeah, I think it's a very uncomfortable thing at this point for a pitcher to open a game going against Kyle Schwarber. Like, it's wonderful to watch.
Because what do you got coming up next, too?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. If I make a mistake to him, it's 1-0. If I try and pitch around him, it could be 2-0. It could be 3-0. Like, this is the peak of what I think like you're getting when we envision signing a Kyle Schwarber and what it brings to a lineup. Right now, enjoy it. This is what you're living in right now.
Yeah, I agree.
Another 40 home run season for him. He's pretty much on pace for. He's sitting at 19 right now, I believe. He's going to go out there and do the same thing in the second half. And then what else can you want? He walks. He's better on the base pass this year than I think in years past when he's not pulling his hamstring. Groin, I should say. I messed that up yesterday. It was the groin for Schwarber.
Yes,
but he's just
groin injury. You don't know what that's from.
He's just like a solid guy who's going to go out there and give you what his baseball card says, maybe a little bit more sometimes. He's the guy in the clubhouse that keeps them all together, regardless of what people say about the backup catcher. It is Kyle Schwarber who's at the lead of that, and he's going to go out there and do that.
Yeah, I this may be the most comfortable I've been with Kyle Schwarber. As much fun as he's been and all the explosiveness of the home runs and the Junes and all of that stuff, as far as that, all right, steady Eddie, leadoff guy in the order because you've decided to go unconventional. This is by far the most comfortable. I'm really comfortable with it.
It's funny unconventional because he started out this whole trend, but now you see Shohei Ohtani going out there and leading off.
Mookie Betts goes down and they put Ohtani
Yeah,
in.
you got Gunnar Henderson out there.
Yep.
Baltimore hitting bombs from the leadoff spot. Like, maybe we were ahead of the curve and the whole argument was off or not.
See, Rob Thompson's ahead of the game.
Oh, I like that.
Oh, here we go.
Everyone wants to be the Phillies. Everybody wants to be Rob Thompson. Is that right?
They're starting to learn. All right, we have a few more hitters to get to when we get back. Also, the Sixers did do something this weekend that had Ray and I say, oh, this is the precipice of something more coming, right? See if you're with us on that thought. 610-632-0975. Having a lot of fun today. You can text us. You can call us. Want to hear what you think your assessment is of the first half of the Phillies. This is Bob Cooney, Middays, 97.5 The Fanatic. just totally out of control. Like he is bouncing all over the place. So B-Gun just had a great line when we were on break. He walks in. Ray was nice enough to go to get donuts for the group today because he knows it's a hard week because we don't have any sports.
It's Sports Talk Appreciation Week.
Yeah, Sports Talk Appreciation Week. So he had donuts out there. Delicious. There's a great selection by Ray. 12 donuts out there. B-Gun walks in during the break. He has a donut in his hand, has one bite taken out of it, and with a partially full mouth, walks in and goes, "What am I dealing with here?"
I've never seen it.
I didn't know what you were talking about. I thought you were talking about the show or something like that. And Ray, without missing a beat, goes, "Well, yeah, there's some raspberry in there, whatever the hell is in there. It's a Neapolitan. Is that what it was?"
It's a great item.
It looked pretty good.
Chocolate donut, some strawberry, raspberry frosting on it, vanilla frosting. Like, I had never seen that before, but I just needed to find out what I was working with on it, and
what am I
turned
dealing
out it
with
was
here?
good.
What am I? Oh, that's you. So what am I working with here?
That's what you get from Fetty D's, man. Good stuff.
Very good. Good job by you today. Very happy to have that. I don't mind you with the 2 cups of coffee. As a matter of fact, I'm going to inject it into your bloodstream tomorrow because I do like this Ray Dunn.
I don't know what's so different about me. I'll be honest with you.
You are you seem more excitable today. Is how I'll say.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Maybe it's because you had a great weekend.
I had a good weekend. Yeah.
All your weekends are good.
I mean,
this is the summer of Ray Dunn.
Again, live a nice life. I'm a lucky man.
Now you did a poll earlier today on your own.
On my own socials.
Now we were talking about soups real quick before we get back to the Phillies here and what we're doing today with as far as sustainability. But we were bringing up cooking, talked about cooking a little bit, and Ray asked the question on his Instagram that we were talking about. What was that
Yeah, this
question?
is both Twitter and Instagram. So I threw it on the Twitter. It was, is it too hot to eat a hot soup right now? 58% of people saying yes. 42% saying no. Instagram, it's a little more direct. I think like 70% of people saying yes, too hot. 30% saying no.
If you're inside all day, you can eat a soup. But if you pull up on one of the construction workers that are keeping our roads safe and flat and all that, we appreciate you. But if you pull up with them with a Gatorade, they're going to take that. Are they going to take a soup?
No.
No, not when you're out in it. But when said construction worker or anybody else working outside goes home, gets a nice shower, relaxes, goes out to dinner with the significant other, and they say, hey, special tonight is a crab bisque or a lobster bisque or a crab soup, Maryland crab soup. I could see you chowing down on that.
If you're not sitting outside.
Oh, yeah, no sitting. I'll eat seafood during the summer anywhere, anytime, any place.
Yeah, easily.
Yeah, back when I was like Ray's age and I had no money down the shore.
Wait a minute.
I'm aging myself
Are you
a
allowed
little
to
bit.
use that phrase?
What are you
I'm
like
6 years older than Ray.
okay.
So, I mean, back when I was I'm still mentally 23, 24.
Me and you both, buddy.
When a whole summer, I had no money. All my friends would always go out to dinner. We're doing our shore summer. Crab bisque. It's my go-to. $5. And they're like, you don't want anything else? Like, no, dude. Like, I don't want that. Meanwhile, I just couldn't afford it.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I had a whole summer of soups. So maybe that's why I don't want it anymore in the summer.
Interesting.
Interesting.
Yeah, it is. Because we were out. We did some shopping on Saturday, kill some time or whatever, and went to one of our favorite, like, butcher places. And they had some lobster bisque there. And I was, like, so tempted to grab it, but I didn't.
I'd go after a lobster bisque right now.
I'd smash a lobster bisque right now.
Yeah, all right. Yeah. I love
Was this American Pie?
Right
Yeah. I could bang a pumpkin pie is, I think, what's in the system. Yeah.
Bob, your turn to talk.
I don't think a soup would
Bryce
work.
and stop. Wouldn't have the same effect. Probably get through it quicker.
Some hot stuff.
All right, Ray, join us, buddy. All right, we're talking about hitters, Phillies, sustainability. This has been an unbelievable first half of the season as the team, all they've done this year so far has gone 60, what is it now?
62 and 34.
I couldn't find it in my notes. 62, you all right?
I'm good.
Okay, 62 and 34. Sustainability is an honest question because best record in baseball, all the adulation you want to give to it, it's phenomenal. But we're looking at individuals right now. Can they keep up what they've done? Is it sustainable? Is it not sustainable? Or can they get better than what they've done in the first half? And one of the guys I'm going to bring up right now hasn't exactly been a pleasure of this team so far, and that's Bryson Stott. Now, let me give his numbers for you here right now. Bryson Stott, on the year, 303 at-bats. Right there among the starters, as we know. Rob Thompson likes to sit him, or doesn't like to, demands to sit him against left-handers. I've told you how much I don't agree with sitting him all that much. I'd rather see him out there all the time. 72 hits so far this year. He's got 12 doubles, 106 total bases, which puts him around 7th or 8th on the team, but, right where he is kind of in the batting order. A batting average right now of 238. Now, he does lead the team in stolen bases with 22, on base percentage of 326. I said this earlier about Stott. He doesn't look right. And you see guys slump, and sometimes it's like, they're hitting the ball hard, but they're hitting it at people when they're in a slump. He's going after pitches the likes I've never seen him do before. We know Bryson Stott to be a guy to work pitchers, to get to those 8, 9 pitch at-bats, and then work something out with 2 strikes. Usually a great 2-strike hitter. He's going after pitches like way out of the strike zone. Pitches that if he lets go, like the other day I was driving, so I only heard the explanation of it, was that if he didn't swing at it, it probably would have hit him. And he struck out on I think it was a strikeout on a pitch.
Back foot. That's right. That nearly hit his back foot. I hope that they were like this weekend, hey man, just go up there swinging away. Like, I hope that it was someone that gave him a directive, because good Lord, at least when he's not hitting, you usually think he's a guy that sees the zone well. Like, him hitting 230, whatever it is right now, versus Casty hitting 230, whatever right now, is that he's still going to have an on-base somewhere in the 300s, because he's at least seeing the ball better. Like, he's at least going to work an at-bat. My goodness, this weekend, he's flailing at everything. I just hope that someone in that organization was like, hey, man, try and run into one or something. Like, try and swing away up there, because, good Lord, Bryson Stott, what are you doing?
My goodness, a good Lord. You just keep going, buddy.
Watching him.
Goodness gracious.
It was. Watching him this weekend was like, what happened? And where did he go? Where did the Bryson Stott? Is this a double? Did he decide to take a vacation the weekend before and they replaced him with a lookalike? Like, that's not the Bryson Stott I've known. Even when he's struggling to hit, he's at least seeing pitches. He was flailing at everything.
Yeah, and I think it's more than this weekend. I think it came to a head. I think it's been a couple of weeks now, to me at least, where it's kind of been like, what is he doing? Like, that's not who he is. He's a level swinger. He's a guy that, like, is going to be in an at-bat. There's times he's so overmatched, and I only use that word usually for, like, rookies, guys that get called up, guys that don't play that often. He looked overmatched this weekend.
Yeah,
that's not Bryson Stott.
It's funny because I'm going to say he's going to get better in the second half, right? But it kind of goes back to that conversation we had where your mind's made up on a player. And my mind is made up where he's going to go out there and work counts even though he might not get on base or on that. He's at least going to have good at-bats. He hasn't really done that to the level that he's done it in the past. And the only reason I'm saying he's going to go out there and do it because he hasn't shown me anything is because I like the guy, right? Like, He hasn't shown me anything this year. And again, compare that to Nick Castellanos, where I don't think it's going to get better. Sometimes Stott just reminds me of Castellanos from the other side of the plate sometimes this year. So I don't know what he's doing.
And shame on me maybe on this one for the work of the count thing, because since the beginning of June, that's just not the case. His on base is 300. Like, he's got, 30 strikeouts in 37 games? Like, that's kind of on pace with where you're at in Castellanos. So, like, shame on me for that one. This weekend, I thought it was an extreme example because it really felt like he was just up there swinging away. Like, and I know they had done the whole, like, hey, have the 2-strike approach all the time with him because that's the way things have worked for him.
No stride, 2-strike approach.
Yeah. For me, it might have just smacked me in the face this weekend. Maybe it's been there. Maybe I've been, like, suddenly being hit, and now they just kind of, like, hit me with the, haymaker to the jaw on that one with this weekend because it was glaring.
It's been like 10 days, I would say, that I've kind of said, like, God, that's not him. Yeah, that looks different.
You thought that home run he hit was going to bust him out of that slump, and it didn't. Like, he's had one home run since May 18th or something like that, and it was a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, and the swings down on one knee, like, even the guys that call the games have been describing it like, that's not him. Why is he swinging out of his shoes? That's different. Now, I understand when you get so many at-bats and all that, you're trying to find something to break you out, like get good contact no matter what. But he's a good hitter. And I'm confident in saying that. And then when you have the John Crooks of the world and all those guys saying, at some point in his career, he's probably going to compete for a batting title. It's there. He just has lost it right now, much like Ranger Suarez has lost his changeup. He's got to find.
I'll just say, comparing the two of them with this season, it's been a season-long thing.
No, I just mean, I mean where Suarez has said, I admitted he lost something.
Right.
Like Stott, to me, has lost his swing, and he's got to find it again. And again, we're going to talk about break being good. I don't know what you do during a break when you're going so badly. Do you get completely away from the game? Is Bryson Stott the type of guy to say, yo, get me a batting cage somewhere? Like, I got to work this out. I don't know. We'll have to see. But moving forward, do you feel better that he's going to find it? Or do you feel just like, all right, this is one of those years where your 6-hole hitter Stott, your 7-hole hitter Castellanos, find out what you have at 8, 9. That's why they're the bottom 4 in the order. Do you think Stott maybe doesn't find it this year?
I don't know what I've seen recently that's telling me he's going to. Like that, ultimately, like I start to have the thought of, was last year kind of what I, like, the best I can expect from him? Like, I have that concern. Like, yeah. I like the idea of what he can be, but for this year so far, I can't say that I'm, oh yeah, he's definitely going to bounce out of this. Like, right now, the one thing with Stott, to me, is if Stott and Marsh are in the order, that means a right-hander's on the mound. Stott cannot be your 5-hitter if Marsh is going as good as he has against right-handers. Marsh needs to be the 5-hitter. That's to me, like, the one takeaway right now with this lineup. I'm dropping Stott even more. Like, I'm dropping him back down to 7. I can't justify having him hit over Marsh right now if they want to keep raking it lefty-righty like that.
Yeah.
I'm moving the guy who's on the season hitting 270 and against righties this season hitting over 300 against righties. That's just it to me.
All right, fair enough. And we're going to finish out the Phillies hitters and also have a little bit of a look at Rob Thompson. Maybe you love everything he's done. You wouldn't change a thing. Is it sustainable? What do you think he's going to do moving forward? Are things going to change there? That's what we're going to look at. We'll do a few more hitters. We'll do Rob Thompson. Then we'll move on to some Sixers, Eagles talk as we move forward here on the show. Ray Dunn's joining me all week as a co-host. Gotta love it. I'm Bob Cooney. This is Middays, 97.5 The Fanatic. Days as we approach the 1 o'clock hour, taking you up to the best show ever. Just talking to Tyrone, watching a little USA basketball. Him letting us know what's going on with Joel Embiid. He said it's kind of ridiculous. They're like double teaming him everywhere, but he finds an open shooter. Oh, it just so happens his name's Steph Curry. And then he finds somebody breaking to the basket, and it just so happens to be Jason Tatum or LeBron James. Or could you imagine being on the floor with that much talent? Oh, wait, he's going to be almost this year with Tyrese Maxey and Paul George.
Should be fun.
Yeah, it should be. It should be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it. We're going to get into some Sixers talk after we wrap up. What we're talking about today so far, it's the Phillies. It's sustainability. And I think we're all pretty positive that, like, there's not many players on this team that are doing stuff that you say, yeah, but they can't hold that up for a full season or even for a second half of the season. I don't think we've really gotten there with anybody. We've kind of, what they are is what they are this year. It's not too much to ask for. Now, look, this 20-game run, 25-game run by Trey Turner, I don't think he's going to play on a pace that's for 154 home runs or 154 RBI and 36 home runs. I don't think that little snippet is sustainable, but we haven't gotten to him yet. We're going to get to him down the line. But the next player we do have up is Bryce Harper. This might be the easiest one of them all. I mean, I'm looking at B-Gun. He's shaking his head. Yeah, like Bryce Harper so far this year, he's got 21 home runs. He's got you the 61 RBIs. He's hitting right around 300 all year long. He does everything that you need him to do. He's probably the guy, I think the morning show said this today. Like, anytime you bring up the Eagles, you always say, well, you can't include, like, say, Jalen Hurts on this. Bryce Harper's a guy, like, you can't include. He's just going to be fine. I mean, this is Bryce Harper. This is what he is. I don't think it's going to go down. I don't think it goes all that. He's going to hit more hot streaks than he will, I think, slumps in this second half of the season.
Yeah, I'm going to be hard-pressed to say one of the best baseball players of my lifetime is going to not be able to sustain what he's done so far this year.
Yeah, it's...
sorry. Bryce Harper in a pennant race? Hard to believe that guy's just going to...
Does anything go more hand-in-hand than Bryce Harper in playoffs? I mean, it's pretty cool. I know.
Last year.
I know. I hear you. But I'm fine. Bryce Harper being one of the best players in baseball for the second half of the season like he was in the first half when he wasn't injured, I can say that without question.
Yeah, there was an old Kobe Bryant commercial with Nike, and somebody was asking him, like, how much better can I be? More. How many more shots can I get up? More. That's the way I look at it with Bryce Harper. How many home runs can he get? Can he sustain that? More. How many doubles can he get? More. Like, he's just going to go out there and exceed expectations time in and time out. Like, that's who we are, and we're blessed to have him in our city in his prime.
Yeah, and the fielding part of it is just amazing, and how good he's doing at first base, how well he plays first base. He hasn't really... I'm trying to think back on such a memorable first half of the season. He hasn't really hit that, like, hot streak yet this year that we've become accustomed to, right?
I do think there's a torrid stretch for him at some point in the season where we're going to be like, ooh. And he's still in the MVP conversation.
He's got 21 home runs, and he was on the injured list for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Like, this guy, he could get 50 home runs if he didn't get hurt. At a new position where he just goes out there and never makes a mistake for the most part. The biggest mistake I can think of was him trying too hard and going over the rafters on the first day. Like,
first day at first base, coming back from injury, and he goes over the railing. Yeah. I have no problem with him. You know what? There was a play on Saturday. It may have been the first batter of the game where Tyler Phillips was pitching, and there was a ground ball to first. Mm-hmm. And it was up the line, and Harper gathers it in, and Phillips runs to first base. And I'm thinking to myself, rookie pitcher, he's very nervous, first start ever at Citizens Bank Park, first start ever. But the casualty of the two, or the casualness of the two of them making that play, to me was like, wow, new first baseman, a pitcher probably he's never thrown an underhand ball to covering first base. The way Phillips caught it, it was just like ho-hum. He's become such a good first baseman so quickly that I do think we take it for granted.
Oh, yeah. We take Bryce Harper for granted in general, I think.
You think so? I don't know. You just called him the best player one of the best players you've ever seen.
Yeah, but, like, the numbers he put up so far this season, we're talking about, there's going to be a torrid pace in there. Any other player
21,
putting up these
61.
numbers? Yeah, any other player putting up these numbers, we're like, wow, they're having a season. For us, we're like, yeah, we could get hotter.
I made a mistake earlier. Tied with Alec Boehm for total bases. Both have 175. 53 walks for Bryce Harper. On base percentage, 403.
I wouldn't want to pitch to him.
No, he's pretty much doing everything you want out of a 3-hole hitter, I would say. So,
Yeah. I mean, and then just go all the way back a couple players to Alec Boehm. Him stepping up is going to make them opposing pitchers have to pitch to Bryce Harper when it comes time in the postseason, which makes him even more dangerous.
Exactly. All right, let's go to Trey Turner. As we know, missed a good chunk of the season with that hamstring. 238 at-bats, which is awfully low, but he's got 83 hits, 14 doubles, 11 home runs, 32 RBIs, 130 total bases. He's hitting 349 with a 395 on-base percentage. He's in the middle of one of the most torrid streaks that I think any of us has ever seen from a Philly. I don't think he's going to hit 350 for the season, but I also don't think there's going to be a major fall-off. I think he hits 320, 330 for the rest of the season and is still one of the best shortstops in Major League Baseball.
There's a 200-game sample size between 2020 and 2021 where he hit 330. This is the type of player he could be. This is the type of player you signed. Like, it's not off base to say it's sustainable for him to hit 340.
And it's funny because it's not rinky-dinky. Not that there's anything wrong with just hitting it to the opposite side, finding the hole.
Call out Luis Ariz. Do it. Call out Luis Ariz.
But that's what he is. I mean, dude, Trey Turner's not doing that. He's the complete opposite. He's putting it out of the park. He's putting it in the gap. He's making the right decisions on the base pass. This is the guy you paid for and that you want to see here for another decade. Like, people forgot last year at the beginning of the season, a lot of the people, I was one of them that was complaining about him. Now you're seeing this guy is going to be able to do this for years and years to come, and I wouldn't want it any other way. Like, what other shortstop would you want in Major League Baseball at this point? Like, not many.
It's quite funny, though. The A's, it almost seemed like a concerted effort on Friday night just to hit every single ball to him. I know they weren't actually trying to do that, but it was hilarious for, like, the first 3 innings of that game. It seemed like every single ball was hit to Trey Turner. And, I mean, offensively, he's probably still where we could have our concerns with him.
Yeah. All right, these two I'll lump together, and then we'll call it. And I was a little upset with the Phillies this weekend about something. And you just brought it up, remind me of something. In Brandon Marsh and Johan Rojas, I think we're satisfied with what they are at the plate because that's what we're talking of at the plate. Brandon Marsh, I've said it over and over again. I would like to see him play more against left-handed hitters, but left-handed pitchers. I don't think Rob Thompson's going to change anything at this point. I wish he would. I like him at the 8-hole. I like the two of them in the outfield together. My God, it's so much fun to watch. Not a lot of balls that should be caught that aren't caught when the two of them are out there. But we're talking offense. I'm fine. My 8 and 9-hole hitters being those two guys.
I mean, last segment I was making a petition for him to be 5 right now. So
yeah,
I'm
good
cool.
point. Very good
5
point.
against right-handers. Against right-handers.
You're okay with these two guys, right?
I would still like to see him get more at-bats against lefties, but I know it's never going to happen. So I've moved. That ship has sailed for me. I would like to see it. He's not the best at it, but we've seen his bat come alive in the postseason for 2 years in a row for a series or two at a time. I'm not going to complain about Brandon Marsh. And Johan Rojas, I don't want to say he's got his power. He hit a bomb the other day.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, no.
Right.
I almost cringe when I see him hit home runs because I don't want him to get to know how good that feeling is because then he wants to try for it again. All right, the thing that bothered me a little bit, Trey Turner took one off the shoulder the other day. I would have liked a little retribution. I really would have. Mike Schmidt kind of talked about it like, look, I'm not this tough guy thing, but all right, this is our hottest hitter. This is an all-star. Seriously, right before the all-star break, you're going to plunk him in a game where you guys have won 31 games this year? I don't know. I think I would have liked to seen a little something.
It's the A's, man. They got nothing to lose.
You're not going to waste punches on the A's or waste,
right.
But like, don't let anybody throw your best player.
I forget
right
which
now.
home run. This one of the A's home runs. He was celebrating a little too much, and it's like you're lucky we're not seeing you again.
If Stubbs was like more than 5'8" and 134 pounds, I think he would have said something because you could tell he stood up and was a little like, "Come on, dude, let's go. You're killing us."
They were chirping for no reason.
Yeah,
They're one of the
I was
worst
a little
teams
disappointed.
in baseball.
This is the highlight of their season. Don't let them get under your skin. It's the A's.
I don't want them having the highlight of my season again, and I don't want them throwing at my best player.
The Phillies found out they were sending an 8th guy to the All-Star game, and the A's won 18-3. Congratulations. You're going to end up in last place again. This is the last we'll probably see of the Oakland A's. Like, you have so much more wrong with you that, all right, yeah, they can have their time in the sun. I don't care about retribution against an A's team that stinks. Have your moment.
Well, they can stay in the sun until they get burned. They should have got hit.
Yeah, no, and I'm not. Look, again, I am not playing tough guy here, eye for an eye, all that stuff. I think there's a time and a place for it. I really did. I was surprised. I thought there was a time and a place for it. Schmitty on the broadcast was like, maybe it's old school baseball. I don't know. I'm not saying old school. You just hit my best player. I am. I'm protecting. I'm sorry. That's what I'm doing. But that's me. Ray disagrees. That's why we're here. 610-632-0975. Let us know what you think about the Phillies' sustainability. How do you look at the second half of the season, which won't start until Friday? All right, coming up next, we're going to talk a little Sixers. There was a signing this weekend. Ray and I kind of looked at it the same way. Want to know if you did too. We'll get to that and a whole lot more. This is Middays, Bob Cooney, 97.5 The Fanatic. Welcome back. 105 here. Middays, as we take you up to the best show ever. Tyrone. Ricky's on vacation, so it's Bill. Tyrone, Bill, and Silvana, I guess. Have you... I don't know. I haven't seen. Usually she's roaming. It's probably because Ray's not in there. She hasn't gone in, I guess, because you two usually have your little spat around by this time.
No, it's probably. I'm shocked that she hasn't gone in there. Yeah, I'm shocked she hasn't.
I see how it is, Silvana. I don't want to come in here because I'm here, not Ray.
You don't want none of that. You know what I'm saying? So you got that going for you, B-Gun, which is a good thing. Last night, sitting at home. Sports-wise, not a lot at nighttime last night.
MLB draft. That's about.
I told you I did turn it on.
Yep.
I turned it on
and
just
Copa,
in
Copa
time.
America.
I didn't watch any Copa. I didn't watch any soccer this week, and I was kind of mad at myself, but I didn't. But I'm switching around last night, and you had so they had the special on about the horrific assassination attempt and all. So there was a special on ABC, and I watched some of that. It was mostly a rehash of the events that occurred and all, which is just horrible. Violence in this country shouldn't be tolerated by anyone at any time. Anyway, so after that, though, I think what was supposed to happen is I think there was supposed to be a movie on ABC last night because I went to my guide and it said a one-word movie. And I was like, oh, I got something to watch. And I was all pumped up. I'm not kidding you. I'm like all pumped up, like, oh, cool, I can sit and watch this. And then I'm thinking about it, and they go to a game show with that Elizabeth Banks girl. That's why I was like, I know I recognized her, but I wasn't sure from what, whatever. And then I'm like, all right, as soon as this is over, it's coming on. All right, come on. And it never came on. And I was so upset, and I realized this might be my favorite sports movie of all time, The Sandlot.
Really?
And I was wondering why I'm saying that now, because The Natural, Bull Durham, Field of Dreams, so many great sports movies. I think it's because in this time in my life, it takes me back to a great time in my life. Because that was us as kids out playing ball all day long. And the innocence of somebody not knowing who Babe Ruth was. And the innocence of like, dude, your hat is so stupid. Here, take this one. And the innocence of everything that was. At this time in my life, I realized, yep, that's my favorite sports movie. So I'll just throw it out to you two real quick. Sandlot rank among your top 5? Are you anywhere there? Where are you as far as sports movies? Oh, and do it quick, because Jim G, our boy, our YouTube friend, is in Ireland calling in. So, favorite sports movie,
I
right?
would say it's probably around the fringes of my top 5. Like, if I ended up making a list going down. I would say probably Bull Durham. I just love, like, and you talked about taking it to a time, like, the Bull Durham I watched later on, like, much later. If you know anything about me, and we've done this on this, I think it was in a 1 o'clock hour on this program at one point where we found out that I don't watch like, I'm not a huge movie guy.
Right, you and I are the same on that.
Yeah. I watched it later on, but I watched it, I think, almost leading into the summer. I worked, like, in summer collegiate ball, so, like, the idea of being on the bus, the idea of, like, you know, kind of grinding it out baseball-wise. I think that movie resonated with me at that time, and it takes me back to, like, I loved that summer. That was such a fun summer that, like, it kind of sits with me, like,
that's cool.
So, every time it's on, that's one of those that I'll probably sit down and enjoy all the way.
That's one I have trouble turning off also. What about you?
I probably would say The Sandlot, but for this sake, there's 1A and 1B. I'll go Coach Carter. I just loved that movie growing up as a kid. I don't know. It's a true story, too.
Yep.
Maybe cried to it one time in 5th grade. I don't know.
He's got feelings.
You're allowed to cry, man.
Such a feel-good story.
You're okay to say that you cried last week watching.
Look at you. I don't know why Silvana hates you so much, but that's cool that you just
I liked it until I figured out the main protagonist. I guess the best kid on the other team was based off of Tyson Chandler. I'm like, Tyson Chandler? He's not even that great. Like, that's who you're scared of? Okay.
Oh, wow.
Interesting.
B-Gun's deep.
Yeah.
Very deep.
Wow.
Jim G, one of our best friends of the show over in Ireland. Jimmy, what's up, buddy?
Bob, how you been, buddy?
Doing good. I can't believe you're over there and giving us a call. Where are you?
Oh, yeah. Right now, my wife and I are in Killarney.
Oh, okay.
We were driving around, saw Kerry Cliffs, and just driving around and put your show on. Had to call.
Oh, good for you. We appreciate it. I can't believe you're giving us a call from over there, but much appreciated that you do. So what's your thoughts on the Phillies right now, Jim?
I think they still need another bat. Left field, still, I don't know, still questionable to me. Rojas with his hitting. I know his defense is amazing. I don't know. I think if they were just going to trade for anything, I think their pitching is pretty stacked. Their bullpen is pretty stacked. And I just think they just maybe need one more dependable bat.
All right, so it was funny. You said a bat in left field, but you said Rojas. Would you, if you got a bat in left field, would you be more apt to put Marsh in center?
Right. Maybe even like if they maybe put soon because like Topper doesn't like that using Marsh against lefties.
No, he does not. So, Jim, what has the trip entailed so far? Are you just beginning? Or are you just ending? Where have you been?
We got here Wednesday last week, a couple days in Dublin, then we drove over to Galway, then to Doolin to see the Close and Moore. Like I said, we're here today in Killarney, then we're going to hit Cork and Kilkenny, then finish up, go home Saturday.
Oh, okay.
I got to tell you, Bob, I've been wearing my Eagles sweatshirt, my Flyers sweatshirts around.
Right.
I've gotten so many Go Birds. I've gotten so many Let's Go Flyers. It's been pretty cool.
How about that? Well, Jim, listen, we hope you
awesome.
and your wife have a spectacular time. If you can sneak over to Scotland, catch a little of the British Open on Thursday. Go over to Troon and see what you got.
Nah, don't do golf.
Okay, I got you, buddy. Well, Jim, have a great time. Have a pint on us, and send Ray the bill, and we appreciate you giving us a call.
Thanks a lot, Bob. Take
All
care.
right, buddy. Take care, Jim. How about that? Little call from Ireland.
Not bad.
Never been there.
Me neither. I've never been to Europe.
No, me neither. I think, though, growing up, it was always number one in my, believe it or not, last name Cooney. It was always a big thing to go to Ireland. Now, my brother and my father went. Didn't invite me. When I was like 23-ish, 24-ish or something like that. They went over. I married a full Italian. And then through the years, if I'm going to get over to Europe, I think I put Italy before Ireland right now. Although I'd love to do the Ireland-Scotland thing.
I think Ireland owes me money. There's a grocery retailer over there that's called Dunn's, spelled like my last name. And I think I missed out on some sort of inheriting some sort of like small fortune in Ireland.
Fair enough.
Yeah. That's just what I'm saying. I'm convinced that I'm somehow related to that grocery retailer. So if I don't show up for a day, that's because I found out the way I'm getting to that money. And I'll talk to you from Ireland.
B-Gun, I don't know if I told you this story. Maybe I have. So when my dad and my brother went over, they saw, I think they were in County Cork, and they saw a bar called Cooney's Pub. Got to dip into Cooney's Pub. Yeah. So they go in, sit down. My dad's having a pint or whatever. My brother's, walking around doing something. My dad starts talking to another man about his age. So they're talking back and forth. My dad, buys the guy a pint or whatever. And guy says, by the way, my name's Tom. And I said, oh, my name's Tom too, Tom Cooney. Guy goes, my name's Tom Cooney. Two Tom Cooneys randomly sitting next to each other at a place called Cooney's Pub.
That's awesome.
Both asked each other at the same time, are you the owner? Are you the owner? Like a little Spider-Man action, but
and then the third Tom Cooney popped out. He was the owner.
He was, yeah. So, no, it was Bob Cooney. Oh. Bob Cooney was young. Yeah. Do you remember at 12 o'clock when we were talking about stuff?
I do remember that 12 o'clock hour.
It was pretty cool, and it was brought to you by Service First Heating and Air Conditioning. Get 0% financing for 72 months and a $500 rebate when you purchase a complete heating and cooling system from Service First. Learn more at servicefirsthvac.com. All right, Ray, we had a little bit of a conversation before the show started, and I said to you, something happened with the Sixers this weekend. Did it bring something to your mind also? Because this is what it brought to my mind. And that was that KJ Martin. I like to call him Kenyon. You call him KJ, so we'll go KJ. Because I'm here to...
That's just the way I hear him referred to. I'm not close enough. I didn't get the...
You heard me refer to him as Kenyon, so you
and you're tight with him?
We go back.
Okay.
So he signs a 2-year, $16 million deal. Right away in my head, it said, sign and trade's coming, sign and trade's coming. I brought it up to you because I was like, wow, nothing happened. I thought it was going to be an immediate thing. My thought was before that if they were going to sign KJ Martin to a contract, then it was going to be boom right away. Oh, they signed him and now they've traded him and they're picking up such and such. It didn't happen that way. So then I started thinking, okay, they're up to like 11 guys on the roster. Is he part of the outlook here? I still believe there's going to be a sign and trade with him. I think that's why it was signed. Maybe Daryl Morey thinks something different. What do you think? Do you think he's part of, I don't want to say a plan, but do you think he's part of the 15-man roster when the regular season hits in October?
I could see him here to start the regular season. I'd be shocked if he was here to end the regular season. Like that's ultimately where I think this is. Hey, we're going to give you this money. It's going to give us an ability to make a trade later on. I think part of the reason why I said this jokingly to you off the air, and I said it, I think, while you're doing the front page, of like, how much money would you accept to not know what city you're going to live in by the end of the year? I think that's ultimately what this is. Hey, man, we started to see a little bit from you late in that season. Right now, we got some minutes open at the power forward or as a wing because, we're looking at the depth there. We like you. We have the ability to pay you, which can help us later on facilitate a trade. There might be minutes for you at the beginning of this season, but ultimately, I think all parties have to kind of realize where this likely ends up, where he ends up a part of a trade because he can, just the salary-wise, it can match up a lot easier with him as a part of that trade.
We haven't gotten to the point yet where we tell each other we love each other every day, you and I.
Right, yeah.
I got to tell you, if it gets to the point where you go, I like you, I'm not anticipating that I love you is coming anytime soon. Not the way you just said it about KJ Martin. That surprises me a little bit because of this, Ray. Who are they putting out there to start the season? Like, I just don't think they have a complete lineup yet. I just don't think that they are NBA ready with their top 7 guys yet. 3 is great. 4 and 5 are really good. I would like to see 4 and 5 right now being 6 and 7. But, like, what
part of how you get to 6 and 7, though, is making this move so you can make a trade.
I want it, like, you're not starting the season in a good spot.
Really? With this starting 5, you don't think you're starting the season in a good spot?
Starting 5 with Caleb Martin and Kelly Oubre? Okay, yeah. What am I bringing off the bench? Like, what am I doing for 4 games out of a 7-day stretch? Whereas, like, I can't go with those 5 starters 38, 40 minutes.
If Eric Gordon starts next to Maxey and you're taking Oubre off the bench.
I don't like that. I'm not kidding. I don't like Eric Gordon in a starting lineup. That's not the type of guard I want next to Tyrese Maxey to start.
Ideally, we want the point guard mold here. I think a move like this gets you closer to eventually trading for fill in the blank, whatever they feel they need. Whether it be that point guard spot, whether they're looking to another wing.
Power forward, right. Yeah,
like
something.
I think you're going to get your wish at a power forward. I think you might actually get your wish fully. I think you might get your wish granted for a power forward coming up. I think that's where this all starts to shake out. They need a 4. There's a 4 that I think makes sense. There's a 4 that are like you've been making the push for this season, this offseason. I think ultimately you probably get your wish on that one. Is this a move that ends up putting them in position to make a trade for playmaking guard later on down the line? Yeah, I'll be honest with you, Bob. On July 15th, I'm going to practice patience on them putting together the roster to go out there and take the floor. If this starting 5 opens the season as the starting 5, I'm going to be okay.
And you're right on this. Like, I'm not going to plead that I'm right. I want it done now and they should get it done now and all that. You're right to preach patience. I do want a starting lineup that I'm comfortable with come game 1. Can it get better at game 30? Sure. But right now, I don't have a comfortable starting lineup, according to Bob Cooney. I'm not comfortable with it yet.
And you're not willing to trot out there to see if... Are you not comfortable with the starting lineup or you're not comfortable with the bench?
Neither. Because, well, the starting lineup, I want another guard next to Maxey. And we've described who it is. They're not going to do that if they put the starting lineup in that we're talking about. If they put the starting lineup in that we're talking about, they really don't have a bench.
Is that guard available right now to the 76ers to sign?
I don't know. I want to see who they're looking at. I'll go back to the Kyle Lowry signing. And B-Gun, you weren't here with us when we did this. I think the Kyle Lowry signing, to me, tells me that, wow, maybe they do have more confidence in a Ricky Council or a Ricky Council or what's his face, Jared McCain that we don't know about. Maybe they have more confidence in them. I don't know. I just don't think this is complete yet.
I think you're getting too anxious.
I don't think it's complete either, but I don't think it has to be complete right now. I can wait a little bit with moving off of KJ Martin to see. Let's see how it plays out in the beginning of the season, and then make your move come the deadline when you know what your flaws are. I don't think it's a precedent right now to go out there and just have your complete roster to start the season, because what's really going to happen is they're going to have to make a move regardless, and it's going to be easier to play with the money that they're paying KJ Martin later on than it is right now.
Yeah, I'm not. This is weird. I'm not preaching impatience. I'll tell you what. Here's how I'll sum it up. I was surprised when I saw that they signed K.J. Martin that it wasn't tied into. So I guess I got to get over that. Okay.
Yeah, I guess
they'll probably do it later. I had in my mind that they were going to do it all in one.
Yeah, I don't have it in one fall swoop. I just have in my mind.
I didn't get you.
No, in my mind, I have it as okay. That happens. I'm already envisioning the notification in my head hitting my phone of, hey, he's been traded at some point over the next 6 months.
Yeah, and everything I'm reading with the new apron rules and all that, they kind of maybe have to go sign 2 other veteran to minimums, and then they can move that guy to get somebody within the $10 to $15 million range. Like, the new rules are very confusing where people are talking about, obviously, Dorian Finney-Smith, but I don't know if they can go out there and do that at this point with the contracts that they have to trade without being penalized heavily. So I don't know if we're going to see that right now. Maybe it's going to be a later on thing.
Bob, we talked in this segment about movies. A movie that I enjoyed as a child, Aladdin. Patience, Iago. Patience.
That was actually I passed over that last night.
What?
The as I was going through the channels last night, Aladdin was on, and it was
you
that
passed
one.
over it?
There's like 20 minutes left in it.
To get to the best part of the movie.
I've probably seen Aladdin maybe triple digits because it came out at a perfect time when I had a bunch of little kids running around the house. And that was at a time where, kids, sit down, I'm going to put on a movie. And Dad would just sit there and like, oh, my God, why do I have 4 kids? I've seen it a lot.
Question for you to answer yourself, there, Bob.
Well, yeah, I passed over Aladdin last night because I thought The Sandlot was coming on. And I don't believe it ever came on. And I was heartbroken.
I'm sorry about that, Bob.
Yeah, that's okay. All right, we'll get through it, Ray. All right, we'll get through the rest of the show. Also, as we're talking Sixers, we're talking Phillies. I also want to ask Ray a little something about the Eagles because the guys talking this morning about a little bit of Eagles got me a little anxious. Like, all right, I'm ready. I'm ready for training camp to start. We're a week and a day from the players reporting and then getting on the field not too long after that. We'll get to all that as we take you up to the best show. However, this is Middays. Bob Cooney, 97.5 The Fanatic. Welcome back, 1:30 here, middays. Glad to have you with us. We got Ray Dunn. He's going to be with us all week, co-hosting, which is absolutely awesome. I'll tell you, I got teased a little bit today.
Not by me.
We haven't talked all that much about the Eagles. Like, it's a time off for me. And we saw the rankings and different things like that. And the morning show did a great job. And I listened to Bill Colarulo yesterday, and he was talking about the rankings of, coaches in the league and then of skill position players in the league and all that. But something came up. I think it was I'm positive it was this. One of my friends this weekend got in touch with me. He goes, I keep hearing you talk about all your question marks that you have with the Eagles defense. And I said, yeah, I just don't know this and that and the other. And I told you I was talking to a friend of mine who's an offensive coordinator. He was watching some film to get ready for stuff. And he says, I got to tell you, Reed Blankenship, he couldn't cover me and you. So another question mark on the Eagles defense that was brought up to me. But a buddy of mine who always is not always controversial, but always kind of looks at the next level of things, says to me this: why do you think the Eagles offense is going to be so good? And I'm like, well, you got two great wide receivers. You got a really good running back. Your quarterback has potential. I'm still on the fence with Jalen Hurts. I don't know what he is yet. That's why. I don't know if he's closer to being, the second best quarterback in the league or a very mediocre, which is what he was last year. I don't know. I said, but, you have a lot of weapons there. He goes, yeah, where's it all start? I go, what are you talking about? He goes, where does every play start? How would a play break down if this doesn't happen? I said, blocking? He said, yeah. You just lost a Hall of Fame center, a Hall of Fame athletic center. On ability alone stands out every game, but then the mental part of it of calling out blocking schemes and assignments and all of those things is now gone. And you're giving it to a guy that never has played center before. Oh, yeah. And 2/5 of your starting offensive line are going to be brand new people at their position. I didn't do that like gulp, but I kind of went, oh, yeah. Are we kind of like overlooking this a little bit, Ray? Are we kind of overlooking that who many people now, Jason Kelce, greatest center of all time in football? I don't know the history of football that well to say it. I don't know football that well to say that. But they lost a damn good center, a Hall of Famer, a Pro Bowler, a guy who was still playing pretty much at the top of his game last year. Are we overlooking it?
I mean, I think at some point, yes, but I'm sorry. I go back to what you were saying. Like, I look at the two wide receivers they got. I look at the running back, the tight end, and I feel better about Hurts clearly than you do. Yes, it'll be an adjustment. Yes, I do think there may be difficulties that arise from it. I have a hard time believing that with the talent you have on this offense in the skill positions, that you're not looking at a top 10 offense.
You do have who many have deemed two of the best tackles in all of football, maybe the best tackle tandem in football, in Jordan Mailata and Lane Johnson. That's great. Mm-hmm. Landon Dickerson's an all-pro over there next to Jordan Mailata. That's great. The most important position among an offensive line has to be center.
Yeah, it does.
See, look, like your answer right there is what my friend was saying. You just went, yeah, like, so what?
It does. It does have to be. Do I think Cam Jurgens is going to be Jason Kelce? No. Like, that's an incredible bar to put on that guy that is absolutely so young and so just getting into this. But can he be a serviceable center and this offense still be really good? I think that's why I start to look at it and say, yeah, it's very important, and it's something we're going to take stock of, and it's something that we're going to, obviously analyze as the season goes. But if he's a serviceable center, if he gets to this league and he is what Kelce deemed him as, the heir apparent, there's a reason why he's the center, and they plug him in there, and he's just serviceable. Just gives you what you need. Not over the top, not all pro, but if you look, like, you grade out your centers and you start, what do you end up? If he's right around what you expect for an NFL level starting center, with the talent they have on this offense, I have a hard time believing that they're not able to overcome in air quotes there, that to be a good offense.
So wasn't part of the talent, though, including Jason Kelce?
It includes. I'm talking talent skill position wise.
Okay. Because I was going to say, if you took, what was the serviceable, I think was the word you used? If you take out an A.J. Brown, a Devontae Smith, a Dallas Goedert, and you replace with serviceable, is that a bigger hit because it's a skill position as opposed to the Hall of Fame center? And it's an honest question. I'm not trying to throw you under, I'm really wondering, are we not looking at this deeply enough?
Maybe not. I mean, to me, again, I think if you get to how many centers have they had over the years where they're not Hall of Fame centers, but they're solid centers?
Probably more than not.
Right? Have we bellyaches? We bellyaches for a while.
Wait, how do you bellyache again? Oh, okay. You're like, okay.
Have we
guys thinking about soup again in there?
Have we gotten to the point? Have we gotten to the point where like when we were talking about let's go back to the Eagles of the early 2000s and what you were concerned about with them. What was your chief concern with them? What was the thing that you were worried wasn't going to get them over the top? They have 2 elite options there. 2. And a great tight end, and now they have one of the best running backs in football.
You're right. I probably wasn't talking about honey buns all that much.
And he's in a mood today. All right.
What? I'm being serious. I wasn't worried about the center at the time.
I know, but to use the honey buns after that conversation, you're killing me.
It's all pies and soup and honey buns.
To me, I understand the concern that's there. I look at this talent and at the skill positions, and it's tough for me to not envision them being top 10, top 10 in football. I'm sorry, that's
Don't
just
be
where I
sorry.
keep going back to. Sorry.
No, I'm honestly having I'm like, somebody put a thought in my mind and I want to talk it out. That's where I'm at. I'm not disagreeing with you.
Well, no, you can disagree with me on this one.
I know I can. I'm just saying in this case I don't.
In this case you don't. So are we posing more? I don't know. I just don't come back to the fact of I will miss Jason Kelce. I will miss what he is as an All-Pro. Do I think Cam Jurgens can slide in there and be serviceable? Yes.
I think anybody could be serviceable. I mean, how many times have you seen a guy just absolutely suck so badly that you're like, oh, he's got to get out.
And if he does, then we're in trouble.
Well, yeah, and there could be. Look, 40% of your offensive line is brand new to the NFL at their position.
How many teams this season are coming back with, 89% of their offense?
I don't know.
I guess no. Saquon's new. So 8 of the 11 positions you're bringing back, pretty much. That's continuity there. Now, it's a new offense. But I think you got better at running back, and so you're going to take a hit there. Teams across the board are taking hits of losing guys and having to have change. So if that's the thing that stops them this season, wow, the defense was really good.
But it was funny. The thing that stuck out to me, what my buddy said was, where does the ball start on every play? In a totally new guy's hands right now. And I understand what he's saying. Just wanted to throw it out there. Mike and Delran has a thought on it. Mike, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. What's up, buddy?
Yeah, what's up, guys?
How you doing?
I'm doing all right. I think what doesn't get and not to take anything away from Jason Kelce, he's the best center ever, right? But you also got Stoutland there, and I don't know if he gets enough credit because not only Kelce, but Stoutland has made many offensive linemen a lot of money, doing what they do. So I think I don't remember when did Stoutland. I mean, Kelce hasn't had Stoutland his whole career, right? I don't know if we would have necessarily known 7-8 years ago that Kelce was going to be a Hall of Famer first bout, right? He always just got better. I just think Stoutland will do the same with this kid. So I'm not. Maybe that's why not enough people talk about it.
Yeah, here's hoping, right, Mike? Who was the first round pick that they had? The guy that they were hoping was going. No. Just recently with Stoutland that they took in the first round that they thought was going to be their left tackle. The guy
Dillard.
Yeah, Dillard. There are guys that haven't gotten better under Stoutland.
Yeah,
Dillard,
who picked Dillard? Was that a Howie pick or was that a?
Oh yeah, I'm sure it was. Yeah, because it was only 4 or 5 years ago.
That was Howie. It was the Super Bowl year.
Yeah,
in the spring when the draft was in Philly.
Bob, I got a quick question before I get off. It's about Sixers, right? Last week, Kyle Lowry fits the bill for me as a veteran point guard that I'd be okay starting next to Maxey, at least starting, right? But what's the if you're looking for a point guard or a power forward? Because I know you're not feeling too great about it yet. Who? Who could you hear a name later today that you'd be able to go to sleep and go, now I'm ready for the season to start. I'm just curious to your thoughts. Go Birds!
Yeah, thanks, Mike. Appreciate it. I don't well, power forward I've talked about. Like Marcus Morris, I wouldn't mind slotting in there, playing 18 minutes a game, maybe 20, starting out there with the starting five that has a lot of scoring, that has a ball-handling point guard. Like a Tyus Jones name has been, out there. Maybe they do. Maybe Jared McCain is the guy that they're looking at to be that guard next to Tyrese Maxey to start things out. I don't know. It's like, and I hate to say this, we've mentioned so many names, but it's almost like, when you go to look for a house and you're like, oh, I don't know what I'm looking for. I'm not really sure what I'm looking for. And then you get there and you go, but that's it. Like if I hear a name, I'll probably go, okay, that's it.
So to go the Tyus Jones route, if you had to remove one of the signings you've made so far, and one of the signings that would go for the amount of money Tyus Jones would go for, I'm thinking probably one of the Oubres, Martin. I think that's pretty much one of those two would have to be taken out for, I guess, the money.
Yeah, no.
Right.
Yeah, I know.
And when you talk about looking for a house, you could go in there thinking I'm getting, 4 bedrooms, 3 baths. I'm getting a nice backyard, a patio out front. Sometimes there's concessions for the best that you could do in terms of a price. And I think given what they had to build this offseason and given all the difference they have, the concessions you've made, I'm okay with the concession of right now not necessarily having the point guard that I think of. And I still think they could, I think they could afford the 4 that we're talking about, whether it's a Morris, whether it's Crowder, someone of that ilk.
Jay Crowder's a name that's, I think, picking up a little steam. That's interesting. I'll plug him in.
Yeah.
I just think pluggable, you said serviceable, like serviceable power forward, but then somebody that can handle the guard spot, ball handling spot that can just fit in with the other guys that you have, offensive guys that you have. Yeah, I guess that's my wish list. And, I don't know. I'm not comfortable with this, right? And look, there's going to be additions. You only have, I think, 11. I counted up this morning. 11, maybe 12, counting two-way players, 12. You need a few more. I don't. I'm not going to sit here and pretend I exactly understand the apron and all that. I had somebody trying to explain some stuff to us earlier. I have to get my CBA guide to look at it and see what's what. But I don't know. But whatever it is, it's not here yet to me.
That's okay. I guess the way you look at it, and I think it's the difference between the way you and I look at just maybe sports in general. I'm looking at this offseason like, what could they have done, and how does it measure up to what they could have done? Realistically, so far, I think they've done about as much as they could have.
Absolutely.
You immediately, and this is, we talked about the day after they got Paul George. You were like, all right, great.
Yeah.
What's next? Me, I pop in the bottle of champagne. Thank God. It's great to have Paul George here. That's lifting you as a contender here. I think it's just they're going to be for the two of us, like kind of the stalemate of the way we look at sports.
Yeah, I don't think either one of us is wrong either in our outlook.
No,
it's fine to have different outlooks of it. I really do like what they've done so far this offseason. I guess I am more anxious than a lot of other people of like, okay, but it's not complete yet. Where's the completion coming from? Maybe they're looking at the summer leagues differently than we are as like, okay, Ricky the Council the Fourth and Ricky the Council. I gave him the Council. Ricky
the
Council the Fourth. Like, maybe they're looking at those guys as something more than we think they are. I don't know. We'll see how it all plays out.
If I had to guess my Maury mind here, he's looking at proven, but he's looking at proven in a plan that maybe isn't the next 2 weeks and maybe looks months in advance.
Right. Yeah, I hear you.
He's preying on the downfall of some team out there.
Someone, somewhere, someplace.
Yeah, he's looking at a team like if they are terrible, maybe we'll be able to pry that player away.
Yeah, there's that too.
I don't mind.
Yeah, we'll see how it plays out. There's I just need it to play out a little bit quicker, right? I don't know how much time I have here on
patience,
this.
Yago.
Hey, the 1 o'clock hour is brought to you by Ferguson HVAC, Lyon Conklin. Attention HVAC contractors for equipment, parts, and supplies for every heating and cooling job. Visit one of Ferguson's counter locations in Bensalem, King of Prussia, Pennsauken, or Westchester. All right, we come back. We're going to wrap this whole crazy day up. I think we've calmed Ray down enough that we are going to be able to do it without him bouncing off his seats. We'll take you into the best show ever. Ricky, Bill Colarulo, and Silvana, who has made an appearance.
Tyrone, Bill.
What did I say,
Ricky?
I'm sorry. Tyrone, Bill, and Silvana will be here also. I'm glad you're sitting in that seat. A lot of corrections going on today, and I love it. This is Middays, 97.5 The Fanatic. Welcome back as we close out midday show, taking you to the best show ever. Tyrone, Bill, and Silvana are going to be hanging out with you till 6 o'clock. Make sure you check that out. We got the Bird Show at 6 o'clock all week long. That's a great listen, so just stay here all day long at 97.5 The Fanatic. We've been talking about a lot of different things today with our co-host Ray Dunn, and it's mostly evolved around the Phillies' first half of the season. What's your evaluation? Obviously, it's been great. No question about it. That it's so much fun this year. Sustainability was what we were talking about, whether a lot of the things that have happened in this first half that gave them the best record in baseball can be sustainable for the second half of the season. And I think we came up with a pretty good outlook. Like, there's not much that's concerning us at all moving forward. Yeah, we see a tired arm in Ranger Suarez. Yeah, we don't know if Bryson Stott or Nick Castellanos are going to be able to fix themselves moving forward into the type of players that maybe we thought they were going to be before the year started. But everything else we are totally on board with. And we made the cases for those guys maybe getting themselves righted in this so-called second half of the season. And we got some text messages begun from some people talking about some things.
Yeah, we got Kevin checking in, and he was going back to that Stott conversation that we had. And he wants to know if you guys foresee maybe Edmundo Sosa taking some of his at-bats and playing time in the second half if he doesn't get it together.
So Sosa gets, or somebody gets them when they're facing a left-handed hitter. That's fine. That's enough for me. If he does keep slumping, could you see it like a right-handed hitter? Oh, my God, look at that. Edmundo's playing second base. They're really sitting Stott out.
I don't think it gets to that level, but I wouldn't blame him.
Wow. I can't. Wow. Yeah.
I mean, I don't think it gets to that level because I don't think they're putting Sosa out there against the righty. I really don't. But Stott, I mean, he's been brutal for quite a stretch at this point. It's not like a slump. It's like since the beginning of June. This is like 6 weeks we're working on. This is not just like a ebbs and flows type of thing. This is bad. So I hope it doesn't get that way. He does see at-bats against lefties because that's the way they operate. I mean, the splits for Stott against lefties and righties is not dramatic the way Marsh is, but it's still they still like it. They still like to do it.
I'm still of the ilk where he's 26 years old. At some point, you have to look at not at some point you have to, but I'm sure you're also not only looking at the here and now, but you're also looking to the future. If I start like sitting Bryson Stott a little bit more because of that, I don't know. I don't want to think that would have a long-term effect in the negative way.
Not to be cruel or anything.
You got to be cruel to be kind.
I don't care what he is at 29 if I win a World Series when he's 26.
Yeah, I hear you. I guess I have more. I don't want to say I have more confidence in Stott than you do, but I do. In Stott and Stott first, Marsh second. I would like to see those kids have the label of go out and play, and we'll live with it. And then if adjustments need to be made, now you can say like, well, Stott's been their everyday second baseman. I don't know what more you need to see for this year.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I'm more of the ilk of, nah, we're okay. What else we got, B-Gun?
We got someone checking in on the soup conversation that we've been having all day.
No soup for you.
And he's saying it's actually good for you on a hot day because it makes your body sweat and it makes you cool down. I never thought of it like that.
So, yeah, but weren't you sweating anyway?
I don't know.
Maybe not necessarely.
Depends how hard you were going with the soup.
He just wants to go there so badly.
We've let him out of. Just, I don't know what he thinks back there from 6 to 10 a.m., but we've let him out, and I'm kind of scared now.
There's a lot of thoughts in that head that get kind of,
We'll have him back on
stuck.
Thursday, and I'm already terrified for those 4 hours.
Oh, I can't wait. Are you kidding me? I might bring in a pumpkin pie. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Some soup, pumpkin pie.
I'm calling off Thursday.
We're good to
Somebody
go. No,
notify
you're
the
here.
bosses.
You're right in that seat all
I don't
day.
I'm very scared of you
week
two right
long.
now.
No, you're not.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Kind of.
All right, if you can make one prediction real quick on the sustainability thing that we've talked about, but if you can make one prediction for this Phillies team for the second half of the season, what do you think it might be?
104 wins.
Oh.
Franchise record.
You said that without hesitation.
104 wins.
Okay. I think so. 104 wins get you a what game win in the National League East? How many games?
8.
Okay. All right. So that'd be like an 80,
They win 96.
Okay. 104. Yeah, I'm sorry. 96. Yeah. What do you got, B-Gun?
the MVP is coming from either Bryce Harper or Trey Turner. It's an arms race out of both of them for the MVP in my mind. So that's my prediction. We're getting the MVP, and we'll see where it goes in the postseason.
That's your prediction, and you're sticking to it.
It is.
Okay. I don't know that I have one, but if I did have to make one, I will say that I agree with Ray. They set a record for most wins, and they win the division by double digits. So I'll go both of them.
Wow.
Yeah, that's how we'll do it. All right, we're going to do all this again tomorrow. We thank you so much for joining us all day today. Don't forget, you do have the best show ever coming up next. You got Tyrone, Bill Colarulo, and Silvana will be there also. We will be back here, same group, except Tom Alvord will be producing tomorrow. We'll talk to you then.